capacity tests every 2 years. Ask your doctor to schedule yours. For more information on how to be bone strong, visit pathtogoodbonehealth.org.
Hey, Joe, I thought you were retired.
Living on a fixed income is tough. So here I am, an essential worker.
I know. I mean, food prices are going up every day. Thank goodness for benefitscheckup.org.
Benefits what?
benefitscheckup.org. It's a free website where people over 60 can find help to pay for food, medicine, even utilities. I got $1,200 a year in benefits. Maybe it can help you.
Somewhere around 400 feet off the ground, RPG came through the belly of the aircraft. When I first got out, I felt like my whole life had been smushed down to just medical appointments. I was going to occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy. We don't talk about the female combat wounded. These are our daughters and our sisters and our mothers. I'm not sure I would still be here if I didn't find the Friends and Wounded Warrior Project that I did. Because there was a long period after the injury where I really didn't understand why I was still here. I felt like I had lost everything. Wounded Warrior Project came into my life and taught me how to stand back up and get back in the fight. The truth is, I think we all have this strength inside of us, but until you're tested, you just don't know it's there.
See how Wounded Warrior Project empowers women veterans like Beth by visiting woundedwarriorproject.org/empowerwomenvets.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to real sports talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah. And Barnes hits one high. Hits it deep. It is out of here. Morant. Oh! A jawbreaker.
It's time to get up and get your day started. It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable!
Here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
We are back, everyone. Welcome in to Sports 56 Mornings on this Tuesday, September 5th, 2023. It was a terrific Labor Day weekend as we got to spend that extra day watching football, enjoying ourselves. Now back to the grind. Hopefully you guys had a great weekend as well. I know for the folks up in the north, at least the northeast, Labor Day is always that end of the summer. Now it starts. Now the grind starts. Although here in the south, we know that school has been in session for a couple of weeks now. But we got a busy week. We had a terrific weekend in sports. We are here to recap it, to preview what's coming up, to talk with you, ladies and gentlemen, as we welcome you in on this Tuesday, September 5th. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, it's where family and fun come together. The world's biggest spa sale going on right now. 50 different models to choose from, 5 different manufacturers. Variety is the spice of life. That's what you get when you're looking for a beautiful spa at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Weather-wise, we had a lot of rain overnight, a lot of storms overnight. I guess that's good for the grass, right? We haven't had rain in a while. Currently, it's partly cloudy and 74 degrees, although showers could still be in the area this morning and isolated thunderstorms arriving in the afternoon, a high of 92 degrees today. Chance of rain is about 50%. We're looking at a low tonight of about 75 degrees. Coming up on the program today, Connor O'Gara joins us at 7:25 to talk college football, specifically the SEC. He was at the game in Orlando between LSU and Mike Norvell's Florida State Seminoles. Florida State all over LSU. At 8:25, we'll talk University of Memphis athletics with Jeff Crane. And at 9:05, we begin a new segment we're going to do each and every Tuesday at 9:05 for the course of not only the football season, but the basketball season as well. It's our friends from Rhodes College, and their football coach is Rich Duncan. They opened up the season on Saturday by blowing out Westminster College on the road 47-0. We'll find out more about Rich and about the athletics going on over at Rhodes College throughout this fall and into the winter. We got Humdinger's Trivia coming your way just after the second hour, top of the hour break, and we'll let you know what our topic will be for tomorrow's 5 favorite things. As always, you can be a part of the program. Hit us up on the Sports 56 listener lines by calling in or texting in at 901-360-8255. You can message us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, on the website sportsmemphis.com. Aside from college football, of course, the NFL Week 1 begins Thursday. We'll have our predictions for the season coming up tomorrow. The FIBA World Cup, United States in action in the quarterfinals as they will take on Italy. That begins at 7:30. We'll update you throughout the show on that. We got some news over the weekend from the American Conference, what they may do to replace SMU. And today is the day we believe that Mikey Williams, at least he's scheduled, it's still on, to meet, as far as his court hearing is concerned, in San Diego. Mikey Williams, is there a chance he'll play for the University of Memphis men's basketball program? Just some of the topics we'll be talking about on the show today. Hope you had a great weekend.
I did have a good weekend. Not quite as good as the Sanders family, but better than Clemson.
Yeah, the Sanders family had a pretty darn good weekend. That was the highlight. Look, let's be honest. Week 1 was not great. We had some surprises. Last night, Duke just taking Clemson behind the woodshed. Texas State over Baylor. Purdue losing to Fresno State. There were some upsets. But there was only one game that featured 2 ranked teams, and that was LSU and Florida State. But Colorado stole the show. They stole the show. I don't know how good TCU is this year after making it to the championship game last year, but we know that Colorado completely did just an overhaul of their roster. And the guy can coach. The guy can motivate, and we'll talk more about that as we progress along today here on the program. Let me bring in our third man of our 3-man weave, and that is, of course, our producer, Zach Boyd. Zach, what'd you do this weekend?
Did a little bit of cleaning.
You did cleaning?
Yeah.
I didn't see it at my house.
I mean, why you got to pay me?
Well, yeah. I mean, certainly. No, I'm kidding.
No.
I expect it done for free. No.
We was doing some spring cleaning.
Good.
Some summer cleaning, at least.
Yeah, I see you got the specs on today. You going with the specs today?
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't had glasses in like 2 years.
I know you're looking sharp, man.
Appreciate that.
Good. Glad you had a good weekend. But wouldn't you agree? I mean, it was there. We were excited because it was week 1, but there wasn't a lot of great games.
Well, no, I mean, there wasn't very many good matchups. You had a lot of blowouts, as expected, when you get a lot of teams playing very much lesser competition. But I mean, the Colorado TCU game was amazing. You may not get a better game all year than what great. That was. Mm-hmm. That was absolutely fantastic. And yeah, I mean, even the Florida State LSU game, which was the premier matchup, ended up in the second half. Florida State just completely dominating that. So that game did not end with any drama for the most part. There wasn't very much drama out there, but it was. Yeah, it's good to have college football back, and we got some interesting matchups coming up this weekend, and now we kind of start. You get an idea. We got to see a lot of these teams with new quarterbacks for the first time and what they looked like, things like that. We'll get, as we continue to go along, a little bit better of an idea when they face a little bit better competition.
Last night we saw some of the worst red zone execution ever by Clemson. It was a debacle, to say the least. And maybe it's the start of the end for the Clemson run. People already think maybe they have hit the downward spiral. Last night, Duke eating them up. Duke, 28-7 to culminate week number 1. But as far as the area teams, the regional teams, it was a walk in the park for basically all of them, playing pretty much inferior competition. I asked Ryan Silverfield yesterday at his weekly availability whether he had a preference in playing, and I said with all due respect to Bethune-Cookman, but playing a team that you should beat up on in week 1 as opposed to playing a good team like Mississippi State last year down in Starkville, or to open up against Ole Miss. And, he was kind of PC with his answer. He'll play whoever is in front of him on his schedule. But I would think, even though the networks need some matchups, right? And fans want to see some good matchups, even though we had one between ranked teams. One, that's it. But I would think that most coaches, if they had their druthers, if not all coaches, would want a cakewalk. They would want a cream puff in week 1 to kind of evaluate where their team is. Because if you're playing somebody tough, you better be at the top of your game right off the bat, or you're probably going to get an L. And LSU certainly saw that. Florida State played great. And last night, Clemson certainly saw that.
Yeah, it's I still would like to see college football let teams play an exhibition game before the season starts. But many of the teams, I think most coaches, kind of would like week 1 being basically an exhibition. Mm-hmm. Play a team that you can beat up on. You can get a lot of guys into the game, give a lot of new guys experience, figure some things out, and then get into the meter schedule. Now, some teams had to start with conference games. You get conference opponents in some of these games, and others, in some of these neutral site games and things like that, we get the bigger matchups. But yeah, I think most coaches would say, give me an FCS opponent or whatever to kind of figure out where things are, especially in today's college football, where there's so much roster turnover year to year. To have that first game to kind of figure some things out and get guys out there playing together, see a bunch of different guys. I think every coach likes that.
Look, I understand the bye games. I understand the money, the checks that some of these teams get to help sustain their football program. For example, Arkansas State. But you go to Oklahoma and lose 73-0, and now, unfortunately for them, have to limp back to Jonesboro, get their mind set to take on Memphis, who opened up the season with a 56-14 win over Bethune-Cookman. It already puts you behind the 8 ball. It doesn't mean that Arkansas State isn't capable of winning this Saturday, 6 o'clock in Jonesboro, or capable of playing a close game, because they have done that over the history of their rivalry with Memphis. The Tigers are a good team. They're not facing Oklahoma again. But you understand programs in their dire need for financial aid are going to do that. It's just when you are not competitive at all, it's devastating. And it certainly was for Butch Jones, friend of the show, to go through what his team went through. I mean, it was humiliating. They weren't competitive at all. Oklahoma scored in about a minute, if it was that. When I watched the game, it was just 3 plays, boom, they had scored, and then they scored again. And I thought to myself, man, how do you zap yourself out of that? Look, if you're a realist, and I'm sure most players and coaches are, they knew they weren't going to beat Oklahoma. They go into Norman. They hope to play, somewhat competitively. They weren't. They were drubbed. So now they got to turn around, mentally get ready for Memphis, which is one of their rivals, even though it's not a conference game. It's a huge game for them. Look, it's a big game for the Tigers, but the Tigers at least are coming in off a win. They didn't play great. They didn't play perfect against Bethune-Cookman, but they certainly did a lot of good things. And so they come in with a different attitude, different mind frame into this game on Saturday.
Well, this just further illustrates why Memphis cannot lose to Arkansas State. Arkansas State they are not getting, and not that it's, they certainly weren't going to beat Oklahoma, but Butch Jones isn't doing much at Arkansas State. They're not getting better. Like they're a pretty bad team.
They're getting worse.
You have to go in there and beat them. It shouldn't really be. Memphis should be able to handle them quite easily, to be honest with you. But you just cannot afford to lose that game at Arkansas State, especially if with them coming off a 73-0 loss, you'll have everybody gone. Good luck trying to sell tickets if you lose to Arkansas State for that Navy game.
Yeah, and the odds makers feel that way as well. 20.5-point favorites is what Memphis was installed as a prohibitive favorite to knock off Arkansas State this Saturday. The Tigers opened up, as I mentioned, with Bethune-Cookman this past Saturday. 26,632 announced. I thought it was a pretty good crowd. Wasn't great. I wanted to get over 30. They weren't going to come close to that. But I thought the student section, and I'm not comparing it to some of the great student sections around the country, but I thought they brought it. They did a good job. I thought it was okay. It was for everything that you took into consideration. There must have been some pretty good walk-up. It was great weather. I mean, really, really good weather. So they announced it, and some people are saying, there wasn't 26,000 in there. I don't know. I thought it was right around that number. Anyway, Memphis comes out, takes care of business. The defense shines. Matt Barnes' defense shines, and they're going up against a quarterback that wasn't even listed on the 2 deep. So he was doing some things differently than what they thought they would see. But they gave up less than 100 yards of total offense and no points. The offense for Memphis gave up the 14 points to Bethune-Cookman. So there were mistakes made by that offense. There were positives as well. The running game, 43 carries, 208 yards. Sutton Smith, 18 totes, 115 yards, 2 touchdowns. We saw the debut of Blake Watson, 10 carries, 75 yards, 3 touchdowns, 5 catches, and 37 yards. So a great 1-2 punch. They did not have Jay Ducker. Not sure what his status will be for this weekend at Arkansas State. They did not have Joe Skates. I talked to Skates. He said he should be ready for this weekend. So they didn't have all their weapons, but they really didn't need all their weapons. By the way, Memphis 21.5 point favorite, I think it is, as opposed to 20.5, although I might have wrote that down wrong. Seth Hennigan was not great. Let's face it. Seth Hennigan, 27 of 36, 2 touchdown passes, 2 picks. Yeah, some decent numbers. He certainly wasn't awful, but he was not as sharp as you want him to be. And he'll need to be sharper as the competition gets tougher along the way. But the defense was great, holding, again, the Wildcats to less than 100 yards of offense.
Yeah, like so many of the games, I have no idea what to take out of it. I mean, it's a Bethune-Cookman team that is a complete mismatch. I mean, it's they're not going to do much offensively against pretty much anybody, probably. I mean, not only are they an FCS team, they are a bad FCS team. They were last year. I don't know that they're going to be much improved from that. Certainly, you don't like the turnovers. You certainly don't want to see that many turnovers against a team like that. That's against better teams certainly would hurt you. But I like the fact that, and again, now there was no Jay Ducker, so how does that? But you had Sutton Smith get 18 carries. Like, you got a guy, and then you've got the second guy, and they combine for 28 carries. I like to see that. That's what I would like to see more of. Seth Morgan, the new kicker, has a perfect night. Special teams player of the week. All that stuff's good. But yeah, I have no idea what that really meant, if anything.
Right. It's basically a tune-up game. That's what it was. Ryan graded his team B-. I think that's fair. I don't think it was any higher. He also said yesterday that he graded out his offensive line as an average performance. They can't be average later in the year. They have to be above average or really good in some circumstances. So again, we'll talk more about the Tigers a little bit later on. Jeff Crane will join us. I thought, again, the crowd was pretty good for everything taking into consideration, including who the opponent was. In the meantime, around the American Conference, not a lot of surprises, although I thought SMU came out real strong, and that's why they are picked to be one of the top teams, some even picking SMU to win the conference. They beat up on Louisiana Tech 38-14. That was never close. You did have a surprise or two. USF losing by 17 at Western Kentucky. The Bulls, you just wait. You're just wondering, when will they improve? I mean, they're in Florida. It's a beautiful campus. It has not happened for them. UTSA and Houston, I figured that to be a tight one. Houston edged the Roadrunners 17-14 in a low-scoring game. And then nationally ranked Tulane, no problems with a very talented South Alabama team, 37-17. I think still the Tulane Green Wave are the team to beat in the American.
And I still think UTSA are probably up there. And yeah, I think that top 4 that everybody has kind of put together with Memphis, SMU, and UTSA and Tulane, I think that's probably correct. I think those 4 teams are probably the 4 best, and how that sorts out amongst them, we shall wait and see. But Tulane, obviously, with Michael Pratt back, very nice to have, and they've got a heck of a coach in Willie Fritz, who's done an amazing job down there. But Texas San Antonio is still very good, and SMU looked good. And again, they've got talent there at SMU.
And Ole Miss will be in New Orleans this weekend to play Tulane. I think Ole Miss will win that game, but I think it'll be close. I think it's a 7-point spread with Ole Miss favored, if I'm not mistaken. And Ole Miss did what they needed to do as they won easily in their opener, 73-7 over Mercer. Jackson Dart played nearly perfect, and then Spencer Sanders came in, and he put up big numbers. They didn't need a huge game from Judkins, and defensively they were all over the field against, an inferior opponent. No disrespect to Mercer, but Ole Miss did what they needed to do. Good start for them. Unfortunately, some bad news before the game even kicked off with the news of Caden Prescorn is going to be lost for the year, the former Memphis tight end. I think Caden Prescorn is going to be an NFL tight end, and that's just a shame. It just derails him until he comes back, and he'll come back strong. So that's a tough loss losing Caden. But as far as Ole Miss is concerned, offensively, they're going to be strong once again.
Yeah, and again, that's just an overmatched opponent. Trey Harris, the Louisiana Tech transfer at receiver, who they expect big things out of. He goes crazy with 6 catches, 4 of them for touchdowns. And Jackson Dart, again, against Mercer, he better look good. And he did. And everybody that came in, Walker Howard, Spencer Sanders, every quarterback, I might have been able to I probably could have thrown for a couple hundred and a touchdown or two if I was playing against Mercer as the quarterback at Ole Miss. But yeah, they should look good against Mercer.
Did Jordan Ta'amu have a couple of attempts? I thought I saw him in the box score. I mean, they were throwing everybody in.
If he would have, they would have been for touchdowns.
They would have been for touchdowns. Tennessee, nationally ranked Vols, picking up where they left off last year. Virginia, just no match as most people expected, as Tennessee wins easily in their opener, 49-13.
Yeah, it was. They are defensively, they would not allow Virginia to run the ball at all. They were killing them on the run. And Joe Milton, he had his moments. Midway through that second quarter, though, man, he had the flashbacks to
yes, he did.
2 years ago, Joe Milton.
Mm-hmm.
He was sailing balls everywhere, and I was like, oh, gosh, it's like he's having PTSD right now because there are balls flying over guys' heads. He has no touch whatsoever. I mean, a guy's like 10 yards downfield. He's throwing the 500-mile-an-hour fastball at the dude. I'm like, oh, gosh, this is Joe Milton. Then he settled back down again and played pretty well. The running game for them was absolutely awesome. Virginia had no answer for that. They just could run it whatever they wanted to do. So it was, again, obviously when you're playing Virginia, that's more than playing Mercer or Bethune-Cookman. Mm-hmm. But that's not a real good Virginia team in Tennessee. To have Milton come out and have that little stretch there, but then able to overcome that. It was good to see, I'm sure, for Tennessee fans.
We even saw Nico get into the game at quarterback. Nico Suave. And then Mississippi State, as you would expect, crushed Southeastern Louisiana 48-7. Arkansas did the same to Western Carolina 56-13. KJ Jefferson with some huge numbers. But again, these are teams you expect that Mississippi State, Arkansas, and these SEC schools will roll over. That's exactly what we did. We'll talk more about the SEC and college football as a whole with Connor O'Gara, who will join us next. Folks, the NFL season is here. Thursday, the season kicks off with the Chiefs and the Lions. And get ready for the NFL season with incredible offers from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5, get $200 in bonus bets. That's guaranteed. Perfect timing for the NFL season, of course, for college football as well. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. That's a great deal. Now is the best time to join FanDuel. The app is easy to use, and you can bet on everything from spreads to player props and much, much more. So visit FanDuel.com/Gasman and kick off the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. 21 or over, present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call Tennessee Redline 1-800-889-9789. NFL Sunday Ticket offer ends on September 18th. There's no refunds. Terms and embargoes apply. $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket, not YouTube TV. YouTube TV base plan required to watch YouTube television. Redemption requires a Google account and current form of payment. Commercial use excluded. Subscription renews. Cancel any time. Again, that's still a great deal to watch from YouTube and YouTube TV your Sunday tickets worth of games. That's from the NFL. That's from FanDuel. When we come back, it's all about Conor O'Gara. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
We interrupt this broadcast for special news and information concerning family leisure.
The world's biggest spa sale is back and bigger than ever at Family Leisure. How is that possible? Well, let me tell you. You start off with 50 different spa models to choose from 5 different manufacturers. Then you throw in up to 30% off in-stock spas and swim spas. But is that all? Oh, no. You get free upgrades on all in-stock spas, plus 24 months, same as cash. Wow! This is the kind of sale that you just can't have every day. But it's happening right now at Family Leisure, the world's biggest spa sale. Soak in the savings right now at Family Leisure, Witten Road and I-40. You know the place where family and fun come together.
Please remain calm and walk. Don't run to Family Leisure. And now back to your regular programming.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps, fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
If that sound gives you nightmares, there's a cheap and easy way to avoid engines not firing. Stable, America's #1 fuel stabilizer, ensures quick and easy starts after storage. Stable's proprietary formula keeps fuel fresh for 2 years, outperforming competitors. Pour Stable in your gas can or directly into the tank of your car, truck, hybrid, boat, ATV, motorcycle, or lawnmower to prevent fuel-related engine problems that cost time and money. When you store, start with Stable.
We're in the break room at a traditional jewelry store here. Hey, Mark, I know it's our job here to try and sell every piece of jewelry, but don't sell this ring. I'm going to try to use my employee discount to buy it for my wife.
Okay, but you know you can get a better deal at Genesis Diamonds.
Genesis Diamonds? Are you crazy? Better not let the boss hear you.
All I'm saying is I got a pair of diamond stud earrings there for my wife and paid a lot less than what we charge here, even after my employee discount.
Wow, really?
You never know who you'll see shopping at Genesis Diamonds. With no middleman pricing on the best selection of diamond rings, earrings, pendants, bands, and bracelets, it's a no-brainer.
I admire your dedication to our jewelry store and not going to Genesis. I know the boss really appreciates your loyalty.
It's just the right thing to do, man.
And it's nice your wife won't mind getting a smaller diamond.
On second thought, can you cover me while I take a break?
Genesis Diamonds, the smart alternative to old-fashioned jewelry shopping. With more selection, lower prices, higher quality, stronger warranties, and zero pressure at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawald Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawald is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Sports 56 traffic.
Right now, working an accident on I-240 East at Poplar. That's I-240 East at Poplar. The left shoulder is blocked. That's the left shoulder on I-240 East at Poplar Avenue. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Covered with oil, strumming my six string.
Welcome back, everybody. 7:28 the time.
On my front porch swing.
We lost a great entertainer over the weekend, Mississippian, who ended up growing up in the Mobile, Alabama area. And then, of course, you always put the connection of Key West with the great Jimmy Buffett, who died over the weekend. Our second Pirate we've lost in less than a year, Eli. Mike Leach and now Jimmy Buffett, true Pirates. But, boy, what a great entertainer, and he had a massive following. So we're going to hear some Jimmy Buffett music throughout the morning. Did get a text from somebody who said that they believe that they heard that Caden Priestcorn is not out for the year, that will miss a couple of games and should be ready for the Alabama game. Now, I have not heard that myself. If Brett Norsworthy is listening, he will let me know, but we'll double-check on that. That's great news if that's the case, because when I first heard that he was out, I had read that he was out for the year. So that's fantastic news for that young man and for Ole Miss if that is the case. It is time to talk college football with Connor O'Gara.
It's time to talk some SEC and college football. Joining Greg and Eli is Connor O'Gara from SaturdayDownSouth.com and SaturdayTradition.com. Here's Connor O'Gara with Greg and Eli.
We get the chance to talk to Connor O'Gara every other week here during the college football season, right here on Sports 56 Mornings, senior national columnist at Saturday Down South, Saturday Tradition, and on Twitter you can follow him at CJ O'Gara. I know, Connor, you were in Orlando to cover the Florida State LSU game, and just watching on television, I could hear in the background them playing a lot of Jimmy Buffett music. Correct?
Yeah. You know, I heard a little bit of Buffett. It wasn't so much so that it felt like you were at a Jimmy Buffett concert.
Right.
But from everything I've heard, that's such a surreal experience. If there's ever a place where the vibe probably would have suited something like that, it would have been a crowd involving those two fan bases. Not a sober fan base. I can confirm that for sure.
Well, it was a decidedly...
LSU's very rarely is LSU a sober fan base.
No, they come in drunk before the game even starts, but a decidedly a Florida State crowd, right? What was it, about 70-30 Florida State?
At least, yeah. And I did a concourse walk beforehand, and I was thinking, oh, yeah, it's probably about 60-40. And then the more I kind of realized and I looked at it, I'm like, this isn't even close. This might be 75-25, 80-20. I've never seen LSU fans that outnumbered. Even like 2019 SEC championship against Georgia, where obviously Georgia's got the proximity factor and LSU's got Joe Burrow. I still remember feeling like it was more LSU, like it was definitely more Georgia fans, but there was more LSU representation. But it was pretty lopsided. Noles fans were very confident.
It was at halftime of the game. I said somebody I was watching with. I was like, I mean, Florida State to me played a terrible first half and was only down 3. I was like, I mean, LSU needed to take much more advantage of that. And then that second half obviously was a domination. I mean, that receiving group with Travis at quarterback, this is a really, really good Florida State team.
You guys, I love Florida State, and I'm not afraid to shout it from the mountaintops. I have been sipping the Kool-Aid all off season. I had them at number 5 in my preseason rankings. And, you know, I did not think that they would dominate in the second half the way that they did against LSU. And I guess we'll get to the LSU part of this. But seeing Florida State with all these different transfer portal pieces, it's incredible, especially when you watch what happened to Clemson last night. But you see Jordan Travis, transfer. Keon Coleman, 3 touchdowns, transfer. Jaheim Bell, 2 touchdowns, transfer. Jared Verse, first-team All-American, transfer as well, you know, coming from FCS Albany a couple years ago. I mean, it's incredible what Mike Norvell has done with this roster and how much they believe in him. That's the incredible thing. and you saw down the stretch, I mean, they just totally took over. I went from thinking, Florida State's going to have some nice playoff buzz all season. They were the ultimate good vibes team. And I came away from that thinking, could this team win a national championship?
Mm-hmm.
That's what national championship teams look like.
Yeah, especially when you saw what Clemson looked like last night. You think Florida State will have an easy time of it. It doesn't mean that, right? It doesn't mean one game will decide what a team will do the entire year. But, boy, and I'm saying Eli and myself, we had no doubts about Mike Norvell. Obviously, Norvell showed us what he's capable of doing here at Memphis, leading into a Cotton Bowl appearance. So we had all the faith in the world that he would get it turned around very quickly. And I remember all the noise when it first started because they didn't win right off the bat, but that's fan bases for you. But no surprise what Florida State is doing. However, on the flip side, after what LSU was able to do last year with Brian Kelly, I'm thinking big things again for this year. And then they turn around, and it started out, as you know, Connor, you were there, with Kelly taking the points off the board by going for it, trying to be a mano-a-mano here, and coming up short several times, not putting the points on the board, playing from behind. And then I don't know what happened in the locker room, but when they came out to play in the third quarter, one team did and the other one didn't.
Guys, it was stark. It's pretty incredible. I mean, the lack of push up front was evident. And look, I'll support the decision to go for it. Some of the play calling, obviously, there we play the results. But, what kind of a message does it send to your offensive line if you don't think that you can gain a yard? You had 6 chances from inside the 5. You come away with no points. But, yeah, I mean, hearing Brian Kelly say afterwards, this is a comment that went, I mean, my tweet of this quote made the rounds in a way I did not think it would. But Brian Kelly coming to the post-game press conference and saying, we're certainly not the team I thought we were. And Jane Daniels admitted LSU players thought that it would be easy. And I'm thinking to myself, y'all lost 4 games last year. And even in the midst of your great run to end the season, you got smacked by a Texas A&M team that wasn't going anywhere. LSU came in overconfident. It's as simple as that. That team was humbled on Sunday night. They saw what a championship caliber team actually is supposed to look like. Way too careless with the football. Some of the mistakes that they made are just mind-boggling, and they're not a championship contender. We got a little too ahead of ourselves with LSU. They are not at that tier 1 like many thought that they would be at.
You lost 4 games, and you lost to Florida State last year. I don't see how you would be overconfident against Florida State coming into that game when you lost to them last year in kind of your backyard, and now you were going more to their backyard and trying to beat them. That is strange to me. So when you look at LSU, you look at the South Carolina, North Carolina game, you look at Florida, Utah. What do we take out of these, of the, I guess, the premier matchups that the SEC had? It did not go well this weekend.
Horrible weekend for the SEC. Absolutely horrible. I mean, Tennessee was the only team that won a Power 5 matchup, and those other 3 were pretty lopsided, if you ask me. I mean, it was a really, really bad opening weekend for the SEC, and this weekend will be interesting to see. Kind of, Reese Davis had the tweet, if you're an SEC hater, man, the SEC's on the ropes this weekend with some of these matchups. If Bama loses to Texas and Ole Miss loses to Tulane, and you can go up and down the list and find some of these matchups that you just go, man, this could be a different conversation about the SEC this year. I think that's a perfectly fair thing to say. Individually speaking, I don't want to necessarily lump it all and say that, well, the SEC was overconfident coming into this year. That's why 3 of those matchups happen. But I think some of this belief that, these teams are going to challenge Bama and Georgia, I wasn't buying that as much. I thought Bama and Georgia were the cream of the crop in the SEC, and that's not to say that both of those teams had perfect week 1 performances against lesser competition, but I feel stronger than ever about that. And to me, this maybe just shows that the depth isn't exactly at the place that many thought it would be entering the season.
So for Alabama, no problems, obviously, with the team they went up against to open the season, and the question going into the year for Alabama was who would be the quarterback. And then after you watch Jalen Milroe perform the way he did against Middle Tennessee State, and again, it's MTSU, take that into consideration, you wonder why there was even a question, because he looked fantastic.
Well, there deserve to be questions. There deserve to be questions because of what we saw from Jalen Milroe last year against aforementioned A&M and the struggles that he had with ball security, the lack of pocket pressure in that game, or the lack of pocket presence, rather, in that game. And you see the decision post-spring. If you are bringing in a 5th scholarship quarterback to that room, which is just full of your own blue-chip recruits, that to me says you are not satisfied at the quarterback position. And Nick Saban has challenged Jalen Milroe this entire offseason to continue to cut down on those mistakes. You can't make the plays that beat us. That's what he has been harping on so much. In that opener, guys, he looked darn good. If he comes out and plays that type of football again, which I realize, again, it's lesser competition, but some of the decisions, some of the way that he was able to execute downfield and the way that he let those routes develop and the presence that he had in the pocket, if he plays like that against Texas, everybody and their mother is going to say, uh-oh, this is trouble. This is bad news, Bears. We wrote off Bama way too quickly. They have a guy. And to me, that's going to be so interesting to watch against this Texas defense this weekend. If they throw the football like that and if they're executing downfield, guys, this Bama team is absolutely capable of winning a national championship.
The other team that you mentioned of the cream of the crop, Georgia, was a little bit of a slow start against UT Martin. What did you take out of their performance and Carson Beck?
So many people think that Georgia can just show up and win a national championship, and that's not the case. That's the biggest takeaway that we should have from watching this team, and it's really hard to do something that hasn't been done in the sport in 87 years. And so watching this start, this really slow start, and look, part of it is you got a new starting quarterback, Carson Beck. He talked about afterwards the anxiety. It's his first start since high school, and this guy's in his fourth year of college. You have that. You have a new offensive coordinator, Mike Bobo, who, look, I'm really skeptical of, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say it's his first game calling this offense with different concepts from Todd Monken. You're without Ladd McConkey, who was dealing with a back injury. And, yeah, I mean, it was a bad start. To be sitting there in the middle of the second quarter against an FCS opponent up only 7-0, yeah, it was a really bad start for the two-time defending national champs. But there will be better days ahead for this Georgia offense. I still think, though, Georgia fans are just so unbelievably defensive. They're like cursing Bobo in the first half, and then the second they get up big, they're like, see, like, why are you guys criticizing everybody? Which is just so ridiculous. I mean, they've gotten to a place now where they're so unbelievably in their head. But I do think that Georgia will be fine offensively. It's just a reminder, though, these things kind of take time, and Todd Monken made it look easy more times than not.
Did you expect South Carolina to give North Carolina a tougher game?
I thought they'd win.
Ooh.
Guys, I said that South Carolina would be the second-place team in the SEC East. I feel terrible about that. I'm doing a column today, actually, that'll come out tomorrow, the 5 preseason predictions I have that I'm not bailing on, but I feel terrible about. and that's at the top of the list because this offensive line was a train wreck. It reminded me of watching Penn State against Temple 2015 when Christian Hackenberg got sacked like 12 times by Matt Rule's defense. And it was just Ole offense. It was so bad to watch this offensive line that I thought was going to be much better. And they don't have any ground game to speak of. Takarian Joyner, the converted quarterback receiver, is their primary tailback. They didn't get a guy in the transfer portal. Their offensive line has no chance of protecting Spencer Rattler. And Spencer Rattler playing without his top receiver, Juice Wells, who was banged up in this one and then couldn't go, in the second half. It was so bad to watch. And even though I'm the biggest Gene Chizik fan on the face of the earth, I still came away from that thinking this South Carolina team is not who I thought they were going to be, and I think they're going to have a really difficult time getting 8-4.
I feel like there's not probably a whole lot of competition for that title.
Easy
I don't know that there'd be enough people out there that care about Gene Chizik enough to be. I think I will go with you. I'll give you that title for sure. The whole Deion Sanders thing. First of all, what was your expectation going into that game on Saturday? And then what did you come out of that thinking about what has transpired and what they were able to do?
Oh, I thought TCU would win that football game. I thought they would do some fun things, but there is no world in which I saw Colorado winning that game. And there's no world in which I saw Colorado being 8-4 this year. This is a team with one bowl appearance in the last 15 years. And I realized, you overturned the roster for it, but friend of the show, friend of somebody that I know you guys know in that area, Mike McIntyre, won National Coach of the Year for leading them to their only bowl appearance the last 15 years. So to say that I believed in Deion, I'd be dead wrong. Don't tell him I said that. But, I mean, goodness gracious, how can you not be impressed with what they did in that first game? This name of the game is talent acquisition in college football. Deion has done a tremendous job of that, and you saw that talent on display. He's going to ruffle feathers. He's going to continue to do that, and he's going to call people out for not believing in him. But this is a much better team than I was giving him credit for. Do they have a chance to compete in the Pac-12 for a championship year one? Probably not. But at the same time, guys, like this was a really, really impressive performance to win on the road against a national runner-up like that. I mean, they are the story so far of the season in college football after what they did in week 1.
Hey, thank you, Dion, because I'm telling you, it was not a great week. Let's be honest. Opening week of college football, we're only excited because it's finally here, but it wasn't the greatest week, and that game really saved it. It was unreal. All right, real quick, let's go over a couple of the games. Give us your picks for some of the bigger ones this weekend involving the SEC. First of all, Ole Miss and Tulane could be interesting.
Yeah, it could be. I think Ole Miss is able to win this one, but man, I'm a little bit worried about that Ole Miss defense against Michael Pratt, a guy who is the best quarterback that people probably aren't talking about. Riley Leonard no longer qualifies for that after what he did to Clemson last night. But, yeah, I'm a little bit worried about that Ole Miss defense. It was great seeing Trey Harris have the game that he did for Ole Miss and Jackson Dart. I do think that Jackson Dart, though, against top 25 competition, man, it's just such a different ball game with him, and that's what we still need to see. I think Ole Miss finds a way to win, but this is one of those, 35-32 back-and-forth fun type games.
I'm with you. Texas A&M, Miami?
Bobby Petrino, that's the difference. They go into Coral Gables. They put up 42 points. They put everybody on notice, and all of a sudden we're like, whoa, what is this offense capable of? Connor Wigman, if you don't believe now, you're going to believe after watching what he's going to do against this Miami defense. I think Aggies win that one convincingly.
And then Texas-Alabama, biggie.
Bama rolls by 3 touchdowns. Whoa. I know, that's unpopular. I don't think Texas is ready for the physicality that Bama's going to come to the table with. That offensive line averaging 339 up front. Cole Kubik's I don't even know if there's a team ever in the history of football that's had 3 guys above 350 on the offensive line. I mean, they are going to punish Texas in the trenches. I think that's the big difference in this one. Jalen Milroe, a bit of a coming out party for him in this game. Bama rolls at home.
Wow. I've got Texas winning the game. I've got Texas in the playoff this year, and I got them winning this game.
You better have winning this game. You got to go to the playoffs.
I don't know. I still think they're going to throw all over Alabama.
And Quinn Ewers, what he did in the first quarter last year. Quinn Ewers is my Heisman winner last year, so I'm a believer. I think that he's in for a really good year, but man, I just think that we underestimate how difficult it is to go into Tuscaloosa and win. If you just look at the history of the last 13 years, man, it is so tough. And it takes a really special team to go in there and do that. And I don't know that Texas is on that level just yet. Maybe it'd be a different story if we were talking about this game in November. But I think this early in the year, I just have more questions. I don't think that they're able to rise to Bama's level.
I hear you. Bama's a little beat up in the secondary as well, but should be a lot of fun. A lot more games this weekend that I'm intrigued about than I was in week number 1. He's the senior national columnist for Saturday Down South, Saturday Tradition. You can follow him on Twitter at CJ O'Gara. He's Connor O'Gara. Joins us every other week here on Sports 56 Morning. So we'll talk to you in 2 weeks, Connor. Enjoy the games, man. Always appreciate it.
Awesome. Appreciate it, guys.
Take care.
That'd be interesting. I do think Alabama could run it, but I think Texas will light up that secondary. And Quinn Ewers, I need Quinn Ewers. I could use Quinn Ewers winning the Heisman Trophy this year. I will tell you that much.
You also can use him being in the game for 4 quarters.
Yes. That goes hand in hand with his chances to win that Heisman Trophy. He needs to be in there for 4 quarters, lighting up this Alabama defense. That would help out a lot. Folks, moving can be stressful for the folks at Black Tie Moving. We'll take the stress and worry out of the process for you. You want to make sure you get the professionals to help you if you've got a move coming up, whether you're moving across town or across country, home, office, whatever it is you are moving. Folks at Black Tie Moving are there, and they are the professionals you want on your side. Give them a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis. Talk with them. They'll come up with a plan working with you to fit your needs and your budget as well. You get a no-obligation quote up front. Moving concierge available throughout the process to answer any questions you may have as well. Trying to make the process as easy on you as it possibly can be. Don't try and do it yourself. Don't ask your friends. Get the professionals to help you when you've got to move. Black Tie Moving. Again, 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis.
You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Hotsy Pressure Washers and Detail Supplies of Memphis takes it all off. They are the #1 cleaning and equipment provider, period. Big or small, Hotsy has the solution. From hot water and cold water pressure washers to industrial soaps and detail supplies, Hotsy has you covered. For our Sports 56 fans, you get 20% off all detail products, so don't miss out on this amazing deal. Call Hotsy today, 901-379-0550, or visit their showroom, conveniently located at Austin P and I-40.
Everyone needs protection, whether you're on the field or on the road, so make sure you have the best. Bob Simpson State Farm Insurance can buckle you up with auto insurance, can back you up with life and health insurance, cover your business whether it's starting, growing, or maturing, and don't forget to insure your home, no matter if you're an owner or a renter. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call Bob Simpson today at 901-381-1233 or go online and get a free quote at bobsimpson.org. Stay protected with your good neighbor, Bob Simpson.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
There's only one place for great steaks, real Italian cuisine, Southern-style meats, and fresh vegetables. It's Fratello's. Fratello's Italian Steakhouse in Hernando has a family feel and a fantastic menu. Voted DeSoto's best new restaurant in 2022, Fratello's has your favorite cuts of prime steak, lamb, and pork, along with delicious Italian dishes. And nothing is better for lunch than Southern-style meats and veggies. All your favorites and more are waiting for you at Fratello's Italian Steakhouse, Highway 51 in Hernando.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Peace and quiet. Hope to see the sun again. But now she lives down by the ocean. She's taking care
7:50
of
the time. As I was saying earlier, not a lot of great games week 1 in college football. There were some surprises. Certainly, we talked about Colorado beating TCU. TCU nationally ranked, the complete overhaul of the Buffalo's roster. Coach Prime and his team stole the show. No question about it. But some other surprises included Fresno State going to Purdue and knocking off the Boilermakers. I'm sure Jerry Palm will be in a great mood tomorrow. You had Texas State, and they have a completely new, different team. So there's something to say about the transfer portal and just overhauling your team. They went to Baylor and beat Dave Aranda's team 42-31. What?
Yeah, it was not a good weekend for the Big 12 overall. They took some tough losses, and yeah, that one, Texas State has been a really bad program. For Baylor to lose to them at home, that's not a good thing for a head coach.
Yeah, these are the type of games where you know you're getting a nice check. You go in there, see what happens, and you pull off a win as well. That's icing on the cake, man. Texas State got a nice check from Baylor. I'm sure that Northern Illinois got a nice paycheck from Boston College. They went in there, won in overtime 27-24. Same for Fresno State at Purdue. And then you had Wyoming playing Texas Tech in Laramie and winning in double overtime, 35-33. As you mentioned, not a good first week for the Big 12. On the flip side, it was a great first week for the Pac-12.
Yeah, undefeated, 12-0 for the Pac-12 in there. So the present is okay. The future sucks because there is none. But the present, and I mean with what Colorado did, and it's not even listen, Travis Hunter, I expected to be really good. I did not expect him to play 130 snaps and do what he did. Like that to me is mind-blowing that he was able to play that many snaps and still be as good as he was at the end of that game. Like that dude's a freak of nature. I had no, so he's beyond belief. Although, again, he was like a top recruit. You knew, okay, this dude's really, really good. It's going to be fun to see him play at this level, and he's playing both ways. Let's see how much they're able to use him, what he's able to do. And for him to just go out and dominate the game on both sides of the ball was crazy. But Shedeur Sanders, I had no idea. We talk about all the quarterbacks in the Pac-12, like he never got mentioned. Now you throw in another. That performance by him was unbelievable. Like that, I cannot believe he's that good.
Shedeur Sanders is now being talked about as a first round pick, and they should. He's big, he's strong, he has a great arm, and he showcased it. As he said after the game, I've never thrown for 500 yards, not even at the high school level. He goes out there and does that against TCU on the road. Tremendous. But getting back to Hunter, should I bring it up? He's doing Shohei Ohtani type things. If Travis Hunter can do this week in and week out, I don't know how he keeps up the pace, playing as many snaps as he does, playing both sides. If he can continue to be impactful, which he will be, weekly, that guy has to be a front runner for the Heisman. I'm tired of just the quarterback with all the numbers. You got to look at somebody like that. It smells of Charles Woodson. That's what it smells of, and that's a good smell. I think, thank you, Colorado, for what you did the first week. Now, can they keep it up? They are playing Nebraska. Nebraska, I think, was installed as a 7-point favorite, and it has changed to Colorado as a 3.5-point favorite. Like that.
I have no idea how Nebraska could have been favored in that game after if you watched that performance. I mean, just like Deion Sanders in 1 week as the head coach of Colorado has already matched last year's win total, had a quarterback, who happens to be his son, break the school record for passing yards, and has a kid doing stuff that we haven't seen in a long time and playing 130 snaps and being great on both sides of the football. That's just his first week as the head coach at Colorado. And winning, by the way, their first win over a ranked team on the road since, 2002? Mm-hmm. So, it's incredible. Here's the thing about Deion and maybe, I don't know, but just if you watch on the sidelines, one thing, he has the headset on, but he never has the microphone down. I don't know how much actual coaching he really does during the game, other than talking to the players individually and motivating them, which is smart. He goes and hires he hires a head coach to be his offensive coordinator. He goes and gets a defensive coordinator out of the Alabama system. And it seems as though he just lets his guys coach. He is there as the CEO.
Don't micromanage.
He is there to bring in talent, and he is there to motivate. I mean, you saw when the Edwards kid had the fumble, and he grabs him, and he talked and then that kid goes out, and he just continues to dominate. It seems as though he just kind of gets out of the way as far as the in-game coaching goes. Now, again, he may do it more but if you watch him on the sideline, he very rarely has the microphone part of the headset down where he could be talking to anybody. It looks like he's just listening in, and he is just there for player motivation, and he does a great job at it. And again, he's got a son who's amazing, absolutely amazing. It's crazy what they did.
He'll do most of the coaching during practice, right? And then once you get to the game, you have the faith in your coordinators that they will call the right plays on both sides. I mean, it is worked out right now perfect right now to start the season. Now, it's a long season to go. Nobody's sitting here going, hey, they're a playoff team, but that was sensational. By the way, we mentioned the perfect first week for the Pac-12. This upcoming week, Arizona plays at Mississippi State, and Auburn goes to Cal. Cal scored 1,000 points. And Cal, along with Stanford, obviously moving into the ACC. You got Washington State and Oregon State. I watched Oregon State play. They looked great, and they were good last year. They still are looking for a home, for goodness sakes. Yet there's some interesting games with the Pac-12 and the SEC coming up this weekend. All right, let me squeeze in Keith real quick, and then we'll take our break, get ready for Hour 2 and Humdinger's Trivia to open up Hour 2. Keith, how are you?
Good morning, sir. Hope you had a good weekend.
You too.
All right, so he's probably right on Ole Miss and Tulane. Tulane is probably a scary team for Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want to talk Tiger, but he's probably right on the rest of the stuff. He's on it. But Hennigan needs to coach needs to put 3 defensive backs on his receivers in practice, and he needs to either run the ball or eat the ball. I mean, just tuck it and lay down. We can't have 2 interceptions against Arkansas State. We can't have that.
No,
because Arkansas State always played Memphis stuff. They always do.
Yeah, you could survive some turnovers playing against Bethune-Cookman, let's be honest, but you can't do that later on in the season. You can't do it this Saturday. You're right. He has to be better, and Hennigan will be better.
Yeah, and a good thing we don't get SMU until really late in the year, because SMU looked really good.
They did.
And Memphis looked really good. Memphis looked really good, balanced on offense. I mean, just a lot of weapons. I mean, it was just crazy how balanced they were on all the offensive weapons they had. And the other thing in the American Conference I wanted to mention was, I mean, it looked good. Arkansas State got the socks beat off of them, and some of the other teams did too. So Memphis really only has to worry about probably 2 or 3 teams if they just keep getting better.
Arkansas State's not in the American, but yes, I understand your point. Thank you, Keith. Appreciate the phone call. Arkansas State played Oklahoma. So let's not just gauge 1 week and say that's the way it's going to be, right? Memphis won easily over Bethune, and Arkansas State got crushed by Oklahoma. Therefore, Memphis will win by 1,000 over Arkansas State. No, they should win the football game. Doesn't mean it's going to be a game that's going to be a blowout, because it never is. They have a good rivalry. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. Call Brandon McCullough at 901-438-5084 or go online to newroofmemphis.com. They do residential and commercial roofing, so business owners and property managers, if you have a leak or any other roofing problem, call Brandon today. They'll come out and do a free roof inspection. Licensed, bonded, and insured, and a member of the Better Business Bureau. They have financing to offer you, including 6, 12, or 18-month same as cash option deals. Plus, they'll work with your insurance company or out of pocket, and they do all types of work around the home, including carpentry work, exterior painting. They can replace gutters, put up fencing and siding, rotten wood repair. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration. Call Brandon today, locally owned and operated, 901-438-5084 or online at newroofmemphis.com. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
A good friend of mine often says that golfers are the best athletes. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors. Now, I don't want to embarrass Ed by mentioning his name, but if you stop and think about it, he may be right. Just like the best real estate agent may not be who you think. Like a left tackle in football, a golfer hits it hard off the tee. Like a sprinter, the golfer walks down the fairway to reach his ball. Then like a quarterback who wants to connect with a distant target, the golfer hits the ball again, and in my case, again and again and again. So if you or someone you know is thinking of selling a home, draft your team by interviewing the players. Find out who will block that offensive lineman from knocking your deal down. And find out about the Shellbucks option play. When interviewing, call or email me to find out why people often say, when you want the job done, call Shell Done. You can reach me at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. That's 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. Do it now and don't fumble that ball.
Is your roof leaking? Do you have water damage on your ceiling of your home or business? Do you need assistance gathering much-needed data and images from your storm-damaged roof for an insurance claim? Call Metro Builders, roof and restoration specialists, and schedule your free inspection. At Metro Builders, our team of Hague-certified technicians and fully trained estimators are ready to come out and evaluate any concerns you may have. Metro Builders Roof and Restoration. We accept all insurance carrier scopes. Call Metro Builders now. Each and every day, we provide clients many different types of data and estimates for their insurance carrier. These include estimate and photo reports of all damage, from the roof to water damage on rafters and ceilings and even studs and plates inside walls. Check out the local BBB for our 27-year history in construction in Memphis, or check us out online today at metrobuildersmemphis.com. That's metrobuildersmemphis.com for your local residential and commercial roofing and restoration experts. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Don't wait to shop Labor Day savings at Lowe's. For a limited time, buy one, get one 50% off on select interior and exterior paints and exterior stains via Lowe's gift card rebate. And the savings don't stop there. Take the kitchen outdoors with grills starting at just $65. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 9/6. More terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/rebates for details while supplies last.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Sports 56 traffic.
We got a handful of accidents on the roadways. Midtown 240 South at Lamar, Midtown 240 North at Lamar. So we're working two separate accidents on both sides of 240 there. Accident on I-240 West at Airways, the right shoulder is blocked. Mill Branch at Finley Road, accident there. Vehicle that is on fire on Sam Cooper West at Highland. The right lane is blocked there. And then out east, Dogwood at Forest Hill, Irene, working an accident there. So take it easy out on the roadways. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I don't know where I'm gonna go when the volcano blows. Let me say it now. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where I'm gonna go when the volcano blows.
Welcome back, everybody. 8:04 the time.
She's moving under
Are you going to hit us Why Don't We Get Drunk at any point?
I didn't put that down on,
That's not on the
on the
playlist?
songs. I didn't
No.
put it down on the playlist.
Are you familiar with that song, Zach?
No.
Okay, you may want to listen to it.
Yeah, I didn't want to get fired.
It's one of the classics.
I didn't want to get fired, so I didn't put that down on the list. But we welcome you back to Sports 56 Mornings, hour number 2 on this Tuesday, September 5th, 2023. We welcome you in if you weren't able to join us for the first hour. Hope you had a great holiday weekend. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. The world's biggest spa sale going on right now at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. We're going to update you on what's happening at the FIBA World Cup, the United States and Italy in quarterfinal round action. Also, today is a big day in the Mikey Williams preliminary hearing for his legal woes out in San Diego. We'll give you the latest on that, continue to talk some college football. Then we'll be joined by Jeff Crane from the University of Memphis. That'll be coming up at 8:25. Before we do any of that, though, it is time for Humdinger's Trivia.
That is right. It's Tuesday. That means Taco Tuesday at Humdinger's, and that means Humdinger's Trivia here on the show. But every Tuesday over at Humdinger's, you can enjoy their chicken or fish tacos for just $2 each all day long, each and every Tuesday. I was over there last Tuesday, as a matter of fact, enjoying some of those tacos over at Humdinger's. Of course, if it's not Taco Tuesday or you maybe not want the tacos, there's plenty of other great things on the menu to choose from all their great grilled fish options with the great toppings and great sides, chicken, of course, sandwiches. You've got the crispy fish and chips. So many great things. You can go to humdingersrestaurant.com, check out the complete menu there. If you need an event catered, they can take care of that for you as well. Humdinger's located at Poplar and Massey. And if you are the first to answer our trivia question correctly today, well, then you will win a $25 gift certificate to Humdinger's to go enjoy some of that delicious food. You can answer via text at 901-360-8255, 901-360-8255. That is the phone number to text in those answers. And again, the first correct answer will get that gift certificate. Here is today's question. The Team USA, who is in action against Italy right now, took a loss to Lithuania on Sunday in FIBA World Cup action. But the question is this: Who was the last country to beat Team USA in Olympic competition? Who was the last country to beat Team USA in Olympic competition? 901-360-8255. Text in those answers. And again, the first correct answer will get the $25 gift certificate to Humdingers to go enjoy some of that delicious food. Right now, by the way, Team USA with a 10-point lead at 28-18 over Italy. Jaren Jackson Jr., stop me if you've heard this before, but he picked up 2 early fouls. He picked up 2 fouls in 2 minutes. He played, 2 minutes and 14 seconds. He is back in the game, but in his first 2 minutes and 14 seconds of action, he picked up 2 fouls.
I don't know if he is a shoo-in for the Olympic team next year. I know people are saying he's a shoo-in. There's not a lot of depth as far as bigs that are American around the NBA. There's a lot of great European players or players from South America, whatever the case may be. People are saying, he's absolutely going to be on this team. I don't know if he will be. I think he will be, but he's got to figure out a way to stop fouling. So either the international officials are calling it too tight or the NBA is calling it too loose on Jaren Jackson Jr. The guy went on, as everybody knows, to win the Defensive Player of the Year award, and deservedly so. But I don't know if they call it as tight as they're calling the FIBA World Cup in the NBA, if this guy would survive. I know you get 6 fouls as compared to 5. But every single game, he's getting 2 fouls right out of the gate. I don't get it. They lost on Saturday to Lithuania, 110-104. He fouled out. He had 1 rebound. The game prior to that, he had 0 rebounds, 0 blocks. If he's not getting any rebounds, not altering or blocking shots, I don't even know why he's in there. And they don't have any depth as far as the bigs. They got Walker Kessler, Bobby Portis, for goodness sakes. So I don't know which bigs you would put on the team for next year. I mean, you got to have some bigs. I mean, I talk about this when I talk about college and the University of Memphis. I don't care. Even though we hear about positionless basketball and small ball and all that stuff, you still have to have bigs in case you're running into a team like Lithuania, which is huge, right? You're going to have some of those bigs. So we'll see. But Jackson is really struggling not fouling opponents.
Yeah, the game against Lithuania, for the second straight game, they were dominated on the boards. But Jaren, and this shows the importance, Jaren in his 15 and a half minutes was a plus 16. Yes. So that means when Jaren wasn't on the floor, they were a minus 22. So they need him. And I still don't understand. Steve Kerr's refusal to play 2 bigs together is a little weird to me. I don't know why. When you're just getting dominated on the boards, I don't know why you don't at least try that. But yeah, Jaren, the foul issues certainly have been a big-time problem for him trying to stay on the court. He just has not been able to do it. And to get 2 fouls in 2 minutes again today to start the game.
Yeah, if anything, you have another big in there, protects Jaren Jackson Jr. a bit. Jacob wants to talk about that. Jacob, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. I was just calling actually for the last team to beat USA in the Olympics.
Yeah, that's got to be texted in, Jacob. Sorry about that. We got to text it in. Thank you now. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, if you can, text in. Same number, though, 360-8255. Humdinger's Trivia is always via text.
We've got a couple of texts to get to here on the world of college football from week 1. 901-360-8255. 901-360-8255. That is the Sports 56 listener line.
Before we do that, 2 things. Number 1, 5 favorite things tomorrow. Here's your topic for tomorrow. Your 5 favorite NFL or college football helmets of all time. Your 5 favorite NFL or college football helmets of all time. You don't have to get specific, like the 1969 USC Trojans. Just say USC, Penn State, whatever. You don't even have to say what kind, right? A lot of schools will use a combination of different helmets. That's fine. If you want to put Memphis on there, that's includes their 5, 6, 7 different types of helmets. I'm fine with that. If you want to get specific, that's okay as well. So we'll do that for tomorrow. 5 favorite things, your 5 favorite NFL or college football helmets. You can combine, obviously, the 2 from the National Football League or from college football, or just go with one or the other. Also, as I mentioned, the Mikey Williams preliminary hearing scheduled for today. It's at 10:40 a.m. Central Time. So we'll be off the air 10:40 right in the middle of Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Not sure what we'll hear today, if we'll hear anything. But Penny Hardaway, who was at the Tigers football game on Saturday, got a huge roaring response from the fan base when he was put on the big screen. But he said, I want to wait and see what happens with this hearing, where we are legally with Mikey Williams before I make any decision about his future. He is still technically on the roster, but obviously he is not in school. So we wait and see with Mikey Williams. We also wait and see with DeAndre Williams as far as a waiver from the NCAA. In the meantime, there was a photo that somebody tweeted out with DeAndre Williams working out with Joey Dorsey down in Houston. Joey was a part of Penny's staff last year, not as a paid assistant coach, but he was on the staff, and he was down there along with TJ Ford, the former great Texas Longhorn. So, again, DeAndre Williams waits. Mikey Williams gets his preliminary hearing going today, and the Memphis basketball roster continues to evolve, let's just say, on a weekly basis.
On the Sports 56 listener line, a texter says, why do the media treat Brian Kelly as a football head coach genius? He hasn't won a blasted thing. He's an overrated individual. And by the way, I enjoyed watching the second most hated team in the SEC obtain a loss. Well, Brian Kelly, he has not won a FBS national championship. I wouldn't say he has not won a blasted thing, though. He has won a Division II national championship. He won a couple of those. He got Notre Dame into the BCS championship game. He took them to 2 playoffs. He comes to LSU and in year 1 wins the SEC West when nobody expected that whatsoever, and beat Alabama in his first year. I think Brian Kelly's a really good football coach. And I mean, there are a lot of coaches who haven't won a national championship who I think are really good football coaches. There's only a few that have won national championships.
273 wins, 101 losses, 2 ties.
And by the way, here's the other thing. It's been proven a couple of times in a row. You don't have to be a genius to win at LSU. You can be a dum-dum and win at LSU.
Wait a minute. Are you poking fun at one certain coach named Ed?
No, I'm poking fun at 2 coaches, Les Miles and Ed Orgeron. You don't have to be a genius to win at LSU. Anybody can win at LSU. And if you get a good coach, who I think Brian Kelly is a good coach, chances are you're going to win at LSU.
Twice he's been named the AP College Football Coach of the Year. He's been named the Home Depot Coach of the Year 3 times, 2009, 2012, 2018. You mentioned in the smaller division, Division II, 11-4, including playoffs, but he's 0-2 in the college football playoff. Now, think about Notre Dame. To get Notre Dame there is impressive, but when push came to shove, Notre Dame just did not have the talent that these SEC teams or Big Ten schools had, and you saw that. It was evident in the postseason, in the playoffs with Notre Dame. Notre Dame's a very good program, obviously, historically, one of the greatest. But when you get down to playoffs now, and it's not voted on who the national champion is, it's mano a mano, they were exposed a bit. He goes to Louisiana. Last year gets him into the SEC championship game. Yeah, they lost 4 games. I understand that. And they did not put up a fight against Georgia. Understand that as well. I actually like Brian Kelly. I think he's a really good coach. But I am very disappointed at what happened the other night. Not because they lost the game, just the way he coached. He put him behind the 8 ball. He didn't take the points when he could have. He was being a little too greedy, a little bit too, macho. And I thought he put him in a bad position. I thought it was a poorly coached game by Kelly, but I don't think he's a bad coach at all. I think he's a good coach.
Another texter talking about Connor O'Gara says he opened a segment talking about how the SEC got hit in the mouth and ends by picking the SEC to blow out everyone this weekend. Well, first of all, I didn't pick SEC to blow out everyone because he said the Ole Miss Tulane game he had as like a 3-point game. But he did have Alabama beating Texas easily, and he has Texas A&M beating Miami easily. Those are 2 games that I actually think the SEC are going to lose in both of those. But it's also different teams than the ones we saw got smacked in the mouth this past weekend. Florida got smacked in the mouth, but Florida's not very good. South Carolina, there were some expectations, but certainly there were some holes that were illustrated, and North Carolina's pretty darn good. There's no doubt about that. And then, yes, LSU, who's expected to be very good, they absolutely got punched in the mouth big time by Florida State, especially the second half of that game. But we'll see. That doesn't what those teams did. It doesn't necessarily mean anything for what Texas A&M and Alabama can do this weekend.
But the misconception is that every single team in the SEC wins every single game. I mean, come on now. I was reading, and I don't know who, what the Twitter deal was, who it was exactly. It was some deal, and they talked about how this past weekend really exposed the SEC, that they're really frauds. Who cares if they had a bad weekend? In the end, will the SEC be there? Yes, they will be there. And I'm not some SEC homer. I'm just trying to speak the truth. Who's won all these championship games? The bottom line is, who's the champion in the end? What conference did they come from? They're from the SEC, basically every single year. So you can never say, oh, they're overrated. They had that was a bad weekend for the SEC. That doesn't mean they're done by any stretch of the imagination. And even LSU is not done. How about if LSU wins the West, beats Alabama in Tuscaloosa, beats Georgia in the SEC championship game, or Tennessee, who's ever there? I don't think it's going to happen. But they're not out of it yet, although I think that they are teetering when you lose that way. It's not just a loss. You lost big. But that doesn't mean that this conference is over. How are they overrated?
Well, the only one that was a favorite that lost was LSU. I mean, Florida was an underdog. They were supposed to. Again, Florida's not even any good. They were supposed to lose that game. They did. South Carolina was an underdog. They lost the game.
Exactly.
Now, they lost it by more than you might expect. You could say it wasn't supposed to be that big of a blowout, but they were the underdog in the game. So they lost one game where they were the favorite, and that was the LSU game over against Florida State. And again, that second half was a dismal performance by LSU, and that was a very disappointing overall performance by LSU in that game. But no, it wasn't like it's a terrible weekend. And again, if they bounce back this week and Alabama beats Texas and Texas A&M beats Miami, well, then then you're just fine. Now, if they both get blown out this weekend, especially Alabama at home, even if they just lose to Texas, if Texas A&M goes down to Miami and Miami stomps them, well, then you start going, wow, this is not looking good for the SEC. And again, that may mean nothing because they still could have the best team in the country, which everybody believes in Georgia, who could win another national championship. You can take all the losses you want during the year. If at the end you've got the last man standing, who cares about a non-conference loss in week 1 or week 2?
Exactly. Again, you're going to call them overrated. Well, if they win another championship, I mean, what do you do? The bottom line is who's standing in the end. Who is the team in the end that's standing, and what conference are they representing? And unfortunately for every other conference out there, it has been SEC with a complete domination.
Another texter says Tennessee is going to be great, and the Tigers are in good hands with Seth.
Well, Tennessee, look, I loved them last year. I love them again this year. I still think Georgia's going to beat them when they play in Knoxville, but it wouldn't shock me if Tennessee won. Joe Milton, as you said, a little shaky at the beginning. Then he calmed down. I think he's going to be really, really good. And as far as Seth Hennigan is concerned, he's got to be better. He will be better. He did not have a great first game. Everybody knows that, who watches football and knows football, and he would be the first to tell you. You can't make those mistakes against the better teams on the schedule. You can get away with it against Bethune-Cookman.
I think Tennessee is good. I wouldn't call them great, and certainly not based off this week's performance would I call them great. I think they're really good. They've got I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball like they did at will against a lot of the SEC teams, which will put more pressure on Joe Milton. I think Joe Milton made some good plays. He made some awful throws again. I still don't have a ton of faith in Joe Milton in a big game against a good team.
How about their defense,
I just don't
though?
do it.
How about the Tennessee defense and the improvement?
Yeah, I mean, but Virginia's not good.
I know it's Virginia,
Virginia's not good.
but it is an ACC team. They held to 13 points.
They're barely an ACC team. I mean, they're just not good. They're in a complete rebuild. That is a terrible ACC team.
I feel bad for the University of Virginia students, although they go to a great academic institution. If you want excitement in your sports programs, your main sports programs, men's basketball and football, and you like offense, which everybody does, you don't get it. You don't get it with Tony Bennett's teams on the court, and you certainly don't get it here with what Virginia's doing in football. Who's their coach again? The guy who thought he got the offer?
Tony Elliott.
Yeah, Tony Elliott. Thought he got the offer from the University of Tennessee.
And listen.
Maybe he did.
And Virginia, this was a great story for Virginia just to be back out on the field after the tragedy and everything else. It is, you got the running back who got shot and was the one survivor, and he's out there playing. I mean, it is a great story. But
and they're going to honor those kids.
But Virginia's
this
just not. Virginia's just not good. Like they're again entering a complete rebuild, trying to put things together again, and they don't have a whole lot of talent. Tennessee did what they should have done against them. Again, it's not taking away from Tennessee. They went out and disposed of a Power 5 opponent the way they were supposed to do it. But I just don't. I still want to, before I'm calling Tennessee great this year with Joe Milton, I want to see them against some SEC competition.
But since you brought it up, then again, this weekend, the fallen Virginia student athletes, including the Memphian, whose name escapes me, I apologize, right off the top of my head, will be honored this weekend. They're going to honor their memory. I think that's a great gesture on Virginia's behalf. I mean, we had the other tragedy down in Texas with the young man from Memphis that was shot and killed. It's just horrible to hear about these tragedies.
All right, we do have a correct answer in the Humdingers trivia. The question was which country was the last to beat Team USA in Olympic competition after Team Lithuania beat them the other day in the World Cup. The correct answer, you don't have to go that far back. It was the last Olympics. It was in 2020. Their first game in those Olympics, the Team USA lost to France. Now, they would come back to beat France in the gold medal game and win the gold, but France was the last team to beat them in Olympic competition. Of course, France didn't even advance out of group play in the FIBA World Cup. All right, Zach, let me double check here. I think we need a tiebreaker. I've got to give you, there's three of them. Three of them here that came in with the same timestamp. 1, 2, or 3?
I was going to go with red, white, and blue. Let's go with 2.
2? All right. So we will be notifying the winner of how you get your $25 gift certificate to Humdingers.
Halftime, FIBA World Cup quarterfinals, United States all over Italy, 46-24. Jaren Jackson Jr., though, just 2 points, couple of early fouls, does have 2 rebounds, and again, not a non-factor once again because of the foul trouble. The United States led by Mikal Bridges with 14 points at the half, so it looks like they're in good shape to move in to the semifinals. Second hour of the program is brought to you each and every day by our friends at James Gaddis Jewelers. They are your family's jeweler. 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. Yes, you can go get your watches and rings from those big box stores in the mall. Just get that, cold service, just another customer. Whereas with James Gaddis Jewelers, they've been a part of the Memphis fabric for a long time. In fact, this East Memphis location, they've been there for about a quarter century, began on Summer Avenue, family owned and operated. You feel like family. They're going to take care of you. They're going to make sure that jewelry is looking beautiful for the lifetime of that jewelry. They'll text you and say, hey, bring it in, do a free cleaning. That's why there's so many repeat customers, because you're treated like a person, not just a number. James Gaddis Jewelers are your bridal engagement anniversary jeweler headquarters. So you're thinking about getting engaged this fall, make sure you head over to James Gaddis Jewelers, find out what they're all about. They also have the personally designed wedding sets that you could choose from, all types of engagement and wedding rings. And they have all their diamonds independently graded and certified. So you know exactly what you're getting. They know there's a lot of competition, so they make sure they have a price point to suit everyone's budget. Watches of all types, I mean beautiful watches, and gemstones of all types. Bracelets and necklaces and earrings and pendants, plus custom-made jewelry and one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. They'll help you pick out that beautiful engagement ring, plus 2 repair experts to help you with your fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available, James Gaddis Jewelers. 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. How did it go for the University of Memphis? Their opening game in football off the field, as far as everything else is concerned. We will talk to Jeff Crane, University of Memphis Deputy AD. He will be next. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hotsy Pressure Washers and Detail Supplies of Memphis takes it all off. They are the #1 cleaning and equipment provider, period. Big or small, Hotsy has the solution. From hot water and cold water pressure washers to industrial soaps and detail supplies, Hotsy has you covered. For our Sports 56 fans, you get 20% off all detail products, so don't miss out on this amazing deal. Call Hotsy today, 901-379-0550, or visit their showroom, conveniently located at Austin P and I-40.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Choate's is offering some amazing specials for this month only. If you're considering upgrading your furnace before the cold weather comes, Choate's is offering $1,000 off a new Carrier furnace. If you don't need a new furnace, Choate's is now offering its early bird $60 furnace tune-up. This 22-point tune-up includes a free carbon monoxide test and heat exchanger inspection. And Choate's is your indoor air quality expert. For the best quality air for you and your family, it's recommended to have your air ducts cleaned every 8 years. This month only, Choate's will install a free UV light system when you get your air ducts cleaned, a $500 value. Call us at 347-8086 to take advantage of these amazing deals. So, turn to the experts with Choate's, and remember, let our family serve your family.
They're taking care of business in Memphis, right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo. And if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their products. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called Godhopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car really needs a wash.
The $20 McGuire's bundle includes Gold Class Car Wash for a showroom shine.
Get in zone.
And what about my tires?
Just spray the included Hot Shine tire coating and you're all set.
Get in zone.
The inside is not great.
No problem. The quick interior detailer in the bundle can help with that too.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
I felt like we were really lucky to have a place like Genesis. There are several jewelry stores, I know, but I don't think any of them can match up to Genesis.
Meet Beth Gear, another thrilled Genesis Diamonds customer.
Yeah, the whole experience was wonderful. I felt really super comfortable, and I felt confident that we were getting the best deal for the money, too.
But for Beth, it was more than just getting a great price.
I'd say the value was extraordinary. Even if the price had been slightly more, I think we would have still chosen Genesis just because we felt that there really was a personal connect. We felt like they really wanted us to be happy.
Genesis Diamonds, where you and your budget are respected from the minute you walk in.
No matter what your budget is, Genesis will work with you. They never make you feel uncomfortable if you don't have the biggest budget. They were very respectful of our budget and need to stay within it.
Discover the Genesis difference. For a ring you'll be proud to show off.
We'd always tell people, I got it at Genesis because I want them to have the same experience.
Genesis Diamonds, Memphis's direct diamond importer at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
Sports 56 traffic.
Still working an accident on Midtown 240 South at Lamar. The left 3 lanes are currently blocked. That's Midtown 240 South at Lamar. The left 3 lanes are blocked. Still working accident on Mill Branch at Finley. Also accident on 240 West at Airways. The right shoulder is blocked there. Accident on Lamar, or traffic light is out on Lamar at home, so just treat it as a 4-way stop. Accident on 240 East at Poplar. The left 2 lanes are blocked. And then Dogwood at Forest Hill, Irene. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Drinking lots of carrot juice and soaking over rays, but at night I'd have these wonderful dreams.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:32 the time. Hour number 2 here on Sports 56 Mornings. Hope you had a great Labor Day weekend. Back to the grind. And it is Tuesday, so time to talk some University of Memphis athletics with Jeff Crane.
It's time to talk Memphis Tigers athletics. Joining Greg and Eli is University of Memphis Deputy Athletics Director Jeff Crane. Here's Jeff with Greg and Eli.
Jeff Crane joins us every Tuesday to talk University of Memphis athletics. You can follow him on Twitter at jcrane75. Hey, Jeff.
Good morning, guys.
So we know what happened on the field. Nice, solid win for the Tigers. From your standpoint, everything that went along with the game, pregame, the activities out on Tiger Lane, how did it go?
Yeah, went well. Of course, there's always opportunities to tweak and get better, and we'll spend a lot of today talking through some of those things as a staff to see what we can do to get better for the Navy game. But really excited with the changes that were made on Tiger Lane and our kids zone and more bounce houses and a big screen TV and that football field that was lined out. Got some heavy usage on Saturday, so lots of new things there and excited about that. It was great having Stephen Gostkowski back to release the team, which is a new tradition that started on Saturday. So all in all, it was a good day. But certainly room for improvement, and we'll make those adjustments going into the Navy game.
Yeah, you mentioned that the new thing with the releasing of the Tigers. Talk a little bit about that and kind of how you guys came to having this idea to do this.
Yeah, it was a great collaborative effort between our friends at Tiger Sports Properties and our marketing and game presentation team. We were looking for something new in terms of a run out for the team and incorporating more smoke and fireworks and all those things. And with our friends at Dillador, it just made a lot of sense to incorporate them into that. And then adding a piece of our community to be kind of the celebrity to push the button, so to speak. So we'll have a new celebrity each week, each home game, and just something fun and different for fans to come out and enjoy as the team runs out.
Now, Gotti didn't push the button as most normal people would do with your hand. He did it with his foot. I hope he didn't break it.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm sure his foot is well insured though, so he should be in good shape there. But fun to have him back in Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, and we always enjoy having former players back, and that's something Coach Silverfield has done a phenomenal job of, and is making sure that those guys feel like they're a part of the program.
Was it a good walk-up as far as ticket sales are concerned? I mean, the crowd, look, we've seen a lot bigger crowds, but it wasn't too bad, at least from my vantage point. I know you guys announced over 26,000, so what were your overall thoughts about that? And again, was there a late push on a beautiful night to watch football?
Yeah, as expected, we had quite a few walk-ups, and now in the day of digital ticketing, people are buying tickets all day and all night, so to speak. So that last 24 hours, we had quite a push. Sold a couple thousand tickets likely within that 24 hours leading up to the game, and ended our season ticket number at about 13.5. So, overall we're pleased, but not completely satisfied with where we are. We want to lead our conference in attendance, and we'll keep pressing forward as we go. If you look at the last couple of Navy games, we've had 30,000 plus at those games, and we anticipate that being the same on September 14th at 6:30.
We have talked a lot through the years about students and how to get students to the game, all of that stuff. You guys have made many efforts. What did you think of the student turnout?
Yeah, we were ecstatic with the student turnout. In fact, we do track that pretty closely, and that was the largest student crowd that we've had since 2019. So close to 3,000 students at the game. We did something really unique. 2 students are going to receive semester's tuition.
How about that
attended the game. So trying different things. We had the DJ in the student section this week, something we'll continue to do, and incorporating students and creating that sort of atmosphere is very important to us, and so thankful that the students came out and looked like they had a great time, and so we believe they'll be back here in a couple weeks.
Look, I know it's relative. I see some of the student sections that are out there across the country, and they're huge, and I know we're more a commuter school, but I thought it was great. I really thought that the ambush did their job. It was more spread out as opposed to just the one section, so it even seemed like there was more than even 3,000. I thought they really came and contributed, and Ryan Silverfield made that known in his post-game press conference.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a big part of the atmosphere, and the noise and energy that's created by students is important as our fans feed off our students, and certainly our student athletes feed off of our students as well. So I'm looking forward to another big crowd.
For this week at Arkansas State, obviously a very easy drive for Tiger fans. If they want to get tickets, do they do that through you guys?
Actually, at this point, in being as close to the game as we are, they would need to go to Arkansas State. They can go to their website and purchase tickets to the game. We did sell a couple thousand tickets, we know, for that game on Saturday, and do anticipate a big Tiger contingent there, as we always have. As you say, it's an easy drive to Jonesboro. It's going to be a really nice night, and hope to see a lot of Tigers out there.
Do you remember, Jeff, off the top of your head, how many Tigers fans or thereabouts were at 2 years ago, last game in Jonesboro?
I don't. We typically end up with about 3,000 to 5,000 Tiger fans in Arkansas State, and they seem to do about the same. So I don't remember the exact number, but we would expect it to be somewhere in that range.
All right, then it's a quick turnaround for the team with the Navy game coming up a week from Thursday. Have they announced the kickoff time yet for that one?
Yeah, that one's at 6:30.
Okay.
And encourage fans to get in the seats early because we have skydivers. They're going to be jumping into Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium that day. Lots of fun things with it being Navy, and just a great tradition, great opportunity for us to play Navy at home, and look forward to welcoming many of our military friends to the game as well.
Would you, and I'm just asking this personally, nothing to do with your position as the deputy AD, but there was a lot of rumors over the weekend after the news of SMU, who will depart after next year to go to the ACC, that possibly Army could replace SMU. Knowing the tradition that is Navy, and we love that, would you like to see Army in the conference?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think it would be phenomenal. There's a different level of respect that comes along with service academies, and being able to compete against service academies just is such a special experience for our student athletes. Being able to go to the Navy every other year for our football program is an honor, and something that those student athletes will look back on as something very unique to their experience. So being able to add Army would be tremendous. I've been fortunate enough to go there a couple times for football games, and what a treat it would be our fans to be able to compete against Army.
It is a beautiful venue. I've been there. Mikey Stadium on the Hudson when Memphis played Army in the past. I enjoyed it. There's a couple of other schools I would like to see them maybe go in that direction, but I can completely understand your sentiments. Final thing, Jeff, I know this continues to be the story that has lingered, the stadium deal and where we stand. There was a story that came out in one of the local papers, maybe both of them, about the university willing to add money to the cost for renovations if need be. Where do we stand with everything, and how close are we to getting finality from the Grizzlies and then eventually knowing how much money can be thrown into the coffers of renovations to Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium?
Yeah, I'll tell you that the design process is continuing. We meet every other week with the design team, and in fact do so again tomorrow morning. And so those efforts continue as we focus in on what that final design is going to look like. We do still have a little bit of time before we reach that point. We're probably a good 6 to 8 weeks away from getting to that point. So we do have a little bit of time before it'll start to impact the construction side of this process. Obviously, it's well documented how important this project is for the University of Memphis, and we know that realistically there may need to be some dollars to make sure we collectively get the stadium that we know this city deserves. We may need to put some dollars into the equation. So those conversations have been had and had for quite some time now, but now it's starting to come into focus a little bit more. So we think we're weeks away, not months away from having all that finalized and ready to go, and continue to be really excited about the product that we're going to put out there for the city of Memphis.
All right, great stuff, Jeff, as always. We will see you in Jonesboro on Saturday. He's University of Memphis Deputy AD Jeff Crane. You can follow him on Twitter at jcrane75. Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks so much, guys. Go Tigers, go.
Take care. We were at Meadowbrook Country Club on Friday, and we had a ball out there at this beautiful golf course in West Memphis. And if you did not hear any of the shows, and we were on from 7 until 1 o'clock broadcasting live from Meadowbrook, Meadowbrook's been around since 1959. Private country club established in that process of being something for people who could afford it, right? Country club members. There's a whole different feel for the country clubs. Well, now Meadowbrook Country Club is opening up their doors to everybody. It is now semi-private. So you can play on this layout, a challenging layout with Bermuda greens, anytime you like. They're open Tuesday through Sunday. All you have to do is call and set up a tee time at 870-400-8170. That's 870-400-8170. $59 in tax, includes carts for this country club course, now semi-private. And if you want to become a member, you still can. They're still taking memberships. It's $350 per month. That includes golf, tennis, pickleball, swimming pool, great restaurant and bar. So country club memberships are available, but so is daily fee. Daily fee usage for Meadowbrook Country Club. Give them a call. Talk to pro Mark Bartlett, who's a terrific guy, and also he can fit you for Shrixon clubs. Go out there, get a lesson with Mark. He was on the tour. Get those beautiful Shrixon clubs. He's one of only 3 in the area that work with Shrixon to be able to do that. So if you're looking for something different, you're looking for a challenging course that you haven't been able to play on before unless you are a member or maybe a friend of a member, Meadowbrook Country Club, 1250 West Broadway in West Memphis, Arkansas. Call them today at 870-400-8170. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
There's only one place for great steaks, real Italian cuisine, Southern-style meats, and fresh vegetables. It's Fratello's. Fratello's Italian Steakhouse in Hernando has a family feel and a fantastic menu. Voted DeSoto's best new restaurant in 2022, Fratello's has your favorite cuts of prime steak, lamb, and pork, along with delicious Italian dishes. And nothing is better for lunch than Southern-style meats and veggies. All your favorites and more are waiting for you at Fratello's Italian Steakhouse, Highway 51 in Hernando.
It's obvious we're being let down by the institutions we used to trust.
The mainstream media are distracting us with meaningless headlines instead of focusing on the real concerns of American families. Countries we're at odds with are hoarding food, financial systems are strained, and supply chains remain too fragile. We can tell something is coming, so we're preparing. Folks are getting into self-reliance and investing in emergency food storage. And My Patriot Supply, the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, makes it easy for you to have peace of mind knowing you're prepared. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com and secure some emergency food kits. There's a dozen to choose from that contain tasty breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, averaging 2,000 calories per day. Get at least one food kit for each family member. And while you're there, stock up on water filtration, heirloom seeds, and emergency gear, too, at MyPatriotSupply.com. It's time to prepare today. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com. MyPatriotSupply.com.
So you need to sell your house? I have the solution. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Any house, any area, as is. It's literally as simple as that. Just pick up your phone. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your house fast, call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses.
We interrupt this broadcast for special news and information concerning family leisure.
The world's biggest spa sale is back and bigger than ever at Family Leisure. How is that possible? Well, let me tell you. You start off with 50 different spa models to choose from 5 different manufacturers. Then you throw in up to 30% off in-stock spas and swim spas. But is that all? Oh, no. You get free upgrades on all in-stock spas, plus 24 months, same as cash. Wow! This is the kind of sale that you just can't have every day, but it's happening right now at Family Leisure, the world's biggest spa sale. Soak in the savings right now at Family Leisure, Witten Road and I-40. You know the place where family and fun come together.
Please remain calm and walk. Don't run to Family Leisure. And now back to your regular programming.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I got my hush puppies on. I guess I never was meant for glitter rock and roll.
Team USA is demolishing Italy, 68-36 in the third quarter. So it looks like the USA will advance on to the semifinals.
Yeah, they're probably a little ticked off from what happened the other day, losing to Lithuania, and really no contest here. I mean, Italy got there. You got to give them credit. They made it into the medal round, into the quarters now. But they are going home. Man, there's a big block. Was that Jackson?
I don't think Jaron's on the floor right now.
Yeah, it might have been Portis. But either way, yeah, 70-36, the USA leading. By the way, I just talked about Meadowbrook Country Club. Let me give you a different number to call for tee times. It's 870-394-4186. That's 870-394-4186.
Some texts here on the Sports 56 listener line. 901-360-8255, 901-360-8255. Talking about the American Athletic Conference and needing to replace SMU. Sean texts in, says, why doesn't Mike Oresco invite Texas State? Their natural fit being not far from UTSA, and they participate in all sports as opposed to Army. Ron says, I would take the 2 Pac-12 teams, but the commissioner doesn't want them. Yeah, I would assume, the comments he made about not wanting to go west, that as they look at it, they don't believe those 2 remaining Pac-12 schools add enough value to justify the travel that would be required out of all the schools. As I said last Friday, I would not invite Army. I don't get it. I think that would be dumb. There are way better schools. Texas State's in the state of Texas, but they've never done anything. In their brief time that they've been FBS, they've been pretty bad. Now, they did get a nice win to start this year. Maybe they could turn the program around. They got the new coach. The former Tulsa quarterback, G.J. Kinney, who's a young coach at his first year there. Maybe they can get something going, but they have been a terrible program for the most part since they've been FBS. I still would go
Coastal Carolina,
App State, James Madison, any of those
maybe
teams.
even Louisiana. But I'm with you. 100%.
Army, bringing an Army in one sport makes no sense to me. First of all, it's going to cause a problem with the Army-Navy game, trying to figure out when you're going to play that game, all of those things. And again, as I've said, I just think the military academies are screwed right now by the way football works. And so Army, they got blown out by who?
Army, not sure. I mean, they've been good over the last 5 years. There's no question about it. But look, I bet you the Army-Navy game would not be moved. And so all of a sudden, it would be a non-conference game. I guarantee you that that's what would happen. If Army came into the conference, the Army-Navy game, the tradition that is the Army-Navy game, would probably say the same thing because they want that separate. They want that weekend all by themselves and would end up not being a conference game because it would be too late, especially if they ended up having a team that factored in to the possibility of making it to the conference championship game, which is highly unlikely. But again, I don't even think it would count as a conference game. They're not going to move that Army-Navy game to October something. It's not happening.
Army did not get blown out. They lost to Louisiana Monroe 17-13.
The Fighting Bowdens, right? That's the Terry Bowden team.
I get it. I just don't see what, other than some pomp and circumstance when you play them, I don't see what Army adds to the conference.
No, look, it's a beautiful place. It's a nice trip. I understand all that. But you have Navy. You have your triple option offense team. You have your we're only playing football. We don't play any of the other sports team. Wichita State, of course, for basketball only. But you don't need another one. I would think you want to go and get somebody who plays all the sports. But from everything that I read, it seems like maybe that's the way they're leaning. But I think there are so many other options to get. Now, it's sad. There are people out there right now that are listening going, oh, my God, these guys are talking about like adding James Madison or App State. Look, it is what it is, man. SMU's gone. You're going to have to fill a spot. And which is the best spot? Which is the best team to fill that spot? It is what it is.
Yeah, you're trying to, to me, you should just be looking for the best football program.
Absolutely.
But clearly they have, as they said, they're not looking west. So they are putting geography somewhat into this. So in their footprint, those are the best football programs. And so to me, go add the best football programs. Hell, Coastal Carolina's in Myrtle Beach. Not a bad place to take a trip. For Army on so many different levels to me is a bad idea. Whereas there are many other much better teams, much better programs to add. And again, to me, I would think you would want somebody that plays all sports and not just add a football program.
I still think that the best scenario would be, but I understand the reason why it can't happen because of the buyout with the Mountain West schools. And right now the Mountain West is, it's a strong, solid conference, but it's not giving they're not making the money that the American Conference is. The payouts aren't even close to what the American Conference is with their media rights package. But to me, and I'm not saying that this would be a Power 5 conference, right? We're down to 4. The Pac-12 is done. But if you had Washington State, Oregon State, Boise State, San Diego State, a couple others from the Mountain West, Memphis, Tulane, figure out a couple from the American, put them together. It's a decent conference. It's a decent conference right there. That would be the best scenario. But again, the Pac-12 isn't going to survive because the Mountain West schools would not join those two. You would probably not have autonomy eventually. You're not going to survive. I know how much they want to. It's not going to be a power conference. But I think it would be a better conference overall than the Mountain West separately, the American separately, and these two nomads trying to find a home. I think I don't even want to call it a super conference because it's not. It's like the damn Yankees. All right, it's somewhat of a super conference, right? When you had, those guys joined that band, but it's not. They weren't that great. Okay, this wouldn't be that great, but it would still be better than what it is, in my opinion. To have the best of the American, best of the Mountain West, Oregon State, Washington State, still very capable football programs. Look at Oregon State. They're really good right now. And Washington State has had a lot of productive years. You put them together, that's a decent conference.
We've got some other texts that we'll get to coming up in our final hour. You can always chime in, 901-360-8255. 901-360-8255 is the Sports 56 listener line.
Town Village Audubon Park is senior living in today's world. They're offering more options to fit your needs more than ever before. Located at 950 Cherry Road, just off Park Avenue. All they ask is that you're 55 years of age or older. You can call them, set up a tour at 901-537-0002, or go online to townvillageaudubonpark.com. Find out more about them. They have all those modern amenities that you want for your loved one, whether it's your future, a parent, a grandparent, whoever may be involved in this. You certainly want them to live life to its fullest for those golden years. They have all types of amenities, including scheduled local transportation, outpatient therapy, a community social area featuring fitness center, home theater, game rooms, indoor pool, whirlpool, bistro, fruit stand, 24-hour pantry, resident gardening areas, dog park, gated parking, on and on and on. Town Village Audubon Park in the heart of East Memphis, 950 Cherry Road, just off Park Avenue. Everything you need to continue to enjoy life to its fullest. Call them today at 901-537-0002 or go online to townvillageaudubonpark.com. When we come back, we open up hour number 3 with Rich Duncan. He's the football coach at Rhodes. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It doesn't matter if you're at the lake, if you're hunting, fishing, playing golf, or just playing around, Scooters Plus can hook you up with the mobility that you need. Scooters Plus has the largest vehicle and parts inventory in the Mid-South and the best service department. You can choose from ATVs, UTVs, golf carts, motorcycles, dirt bikes, trikes, scooters, and even electric bikes. Come in today to start or wrap up your holiday shopping with 25% down on Christmas layaways. Scooters Plus, 3425 Summer Avenue. Call Sam at 458-8843 or go online to scootersplus.us.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. If you're a dad who is facing divorce, there are extra layers of stress that may include stereotypes and assumptions. No two situations are the same. Our legal experience and skill prepare us for whatever legal challenges we face together. You need a partner you can count on. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has represented men in divorce.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Memphis attorneys. 6000 Poplar Avenue, Suite 225, Memphis, Tennessee, 38119.
Paid for by Cordell & Cordell.
Is your roof leaking? Do you have water damage on your ceiling of your home or business? Do you need assistance gathering much-needed data and images from your storm-damaged roof for an insurance claim? Call Metro Builders, roof and restoration specialists, and schedule your free inspection. At Metro Builders, our team of Hague-certified technicians and fully trained estimators are ready to come out and evaluate any concerns you may have. Metro Builders Roof and Restoration. We accept all insurance carrier scopes. Call Metro Builders now. Each and every day, we provide clients many different types of data and estimates for their insurance carrier. These include estimate and photo reports of all damage, from the roof to water damage on rafters and ceilings and even studs and plates inside walls. Check out the local BBB for our 27-year history in construction in Memphis, or check us out online today at metrobuildersmemphis.com. That's metrobuildersmemphis.com for your local residential and commercial roofing and restoration experts. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Hi, everyone. Greg Gaston for FanDuel. Add a little excitement to your sports watching experience by betting on all the action on FanDuel Sportsbook. There's a reason why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Their app is simple to use. They've got great odds on all different betting markets, unique fun bet types like same-game parlay, and exclusive always-on promotions such as enhanced odds boosts on the biggest events to let you get more action out of every game day. And if you win, they even get you your winning safely in as little as 24 hours. If you've never tried FanDuel Sportsbook, what are you waiting for? Just go to FanDuel.com, use Gas Manager promo code to get in on the action. All in an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Just go to FanDuel.com, again, use Gas Manager promo code to join now or sign into your FanDuel Sportsbook account. Must be 21 or over, present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit is required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call Tennessee Redline at 1-800-889-9789.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, I want to talk about our seasoning and sauce today. Our sauce is a great blend of sweet, mustard, and vinegar. It's good on so many items other than barbecue. It's good on pizza. People use it in lieu of ketchup. But our seasoning is the original dry rub, created by my father using a mixture of Greek and Cajun spices. People think our sauce and seasoning are good just during the grilling season. Nothing could be further from the truth. It's good year-round. Our seasoning is good on fish, chicken, deviled eggs, corn on the cob, French fries. People even put a dash in a Bloody Mary. To get a complete list of all of our recipes using our products, go to hogsfly.com, click recipes, and you'll see 50 wonderful items and dishes. And Brett, our sauce and seasoning is available at most grocery stores, and if they don't have it, please remind your grocer to stock it. And our slaw is also available at most Kroger stores.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawa Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawa is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Sports 56 traffic.
Got a new accident on Poplar at Oakley Lane. That's Poplar at Oakley Lane. Still working accidents on 240 East at Poplar. The left lane is blocked there. Traffic light is out on Lamar at Holmes Road, so just treat it as a four-way stop. And then accident on Midtown 240 South at Lamar. The left three lanes are blocked there. And then 240 West at Airways, the right shoulder is blocked. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now, back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Too long, I was hungry and went out for a bite. Ran into a
Welcome back, everyone. 9:04 at the time. Final hour for us today here on Sports 56 Mornings. Playing a lot of Jimmy Buffett music after one of the great entertainers passed away.
We're at least going to get
weekend.
Cheeseburger in Paradise, right?
I put it on the list.
Okay.
Have we not? I think you played that already.
Oh, did you already play it?
Yeah, I thought he did.
Oh.
Yeah. He's a great DJ. He spins all the big hits, and he's done so for the last 2
I thought maybe Zach
hours
was boycotting
plus.
because it was about cheeseburgers.
Lettuce wrap in paradise. No meat at all. No, it's a great song. One of the great songs from Jimmy Buffett. We welcome you back to Sports 56 Mornings on this Tuesday, September 5th, 2023. The United States putting the finishing touches on a quarterfinal round win in the FIBA World Cup as they are blowing out the Italians 83-49. We are very pleased to add a new segment to our program, not only through the fall and the football season, but into the winter and early spring with basketball. It is our feature of Rhodes College Athletics. Rhodes has been a big part of this community for many, many years, and they have a terrific athletic department, and they have some terrific coaches, and we are very pleased to be joined today in our inaugural segment about Rhodes with Rich Duncan. He is the head football coach of the Rhodes Lynx, and they opened up the season this past Saturday with an easy win as they downed Westminster College 47-0. And without further ado, by the way, you can follow Coach on Twitter at Coach Rich Duncan, and he joins us now on Sports 56 Mornings. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great, Greg. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to weekly visiting with you and other coaches from Rhodes to kind of give everybody an update on what's happening over there. It's kind of a nice little hidden jewel, is it not? It's been a part of the Memphis fabric for years, but for those who don't know, you guys are doing some good things over there.
Yeah, it's a fantastic place. I've been at Rhodes for 3 years, and it's a terrific athletic department. We were successful across the board in athletics, and one of the biggest shockers to me when I got there is how many Memphians haven't actually been on campus. And I would love to have the whole city come over and see us play football.
Rich, before we talk about your game, your team, tell us a little bit about yourself. Again, third year here at Rhodes, but for those who don't know you, where are you from?
Originally from Eastern Ohio, about 40 miles from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Coached all over the country, everywhere. My daughter was born in New Hampshire. My son was born in Iowa. The last 10 years, I was over in the state of Georgia before I came to Memphis, and I've had pretty good travel along the way.
This program, obviously, as you mentioned, year 3, you've made improvements from year 1 to year 2. As you go into year 3, kind of what are your expectations?
Well, we were able to get 3 wins our first year, coming off a couple tough seasons. We got it to 500 last year, and like I told the kids, we're in year 3, and we got to keep moving the bar. And our goal is to compete for a conference championship every year. And we got off to a great start last Saturday, but we still have a lot of work ahead of us. And really excited because I think we have a football team that can go out and compete with anybody.
You guys, over the years, have recruited nationally, and you would think, well, where's the money coming from for that recruiting budget to be able to do that? But it's not just local kids. Obviously, you will look to see the local talent, and if it fits your needs, you will go after those guys. But you're not afraid to go anywhere to bring in talent to Rhodes. Is that the case with your makeup of your team this year, your roster?
Yeah, with our academic criteria at Rhodes, we have to cast a wide net. But we're primarily a mid-south, southeast Texas team. So we Austin, Dallas, New Orleans, Memphis, then Nashville, Atlanta, and a little bit in Florida. That's kind of the broad base of our roster.
I assume, looking at the box score from your game on Saturday, you have to be pretty pleased with what the defense did. You guys basically gave up nothing to Westminster.
Yeah, we really made huge strides a year ago defensively, and got ourselves ranked nationally. I think our kids really built off that performance. We graduated 2 all-conference defensive ends and a pretty good corner, but we returned, I believe, 7 starters on defense and have a really good core nucleus of guys there, and I'm really going to lean on them as the year goes along.
Well, what is your philosophy as a coach?
Score one more than the other two.
Well, I didn't know if you were more of a defensive-oriented guy, if your background is defense when looking at that box score, as Eli just mentioned. I mean, it's just phenomenal what the defense was able to do. Obviously, the offense had a field day as well. But, how would you describe yourself as far as that background is concerned?
Yeah, my background, my pedigree is in offensive line play, and I've been an offensive play caller for 25 years. But when you get into philosophy, it's more so in genuinely. I grew up watching the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you were to emulate a philosophy, that would be it. The Chuck Noll teams, the Bill Cowher teams, play great defense, don't turn it over on offense, put it in the end zone, be efficient. And then be terrific on special teams. That's kind of our philosophy. And, even though I have an offensive background, I believe, heavily in stopping the other team. If they don't score, they can't beat you.
You mentioned with that, tell us a little bit about some of the guys to watch. Houston Wilhelm, I guess, is your starting quarterback. Tell us a little bit about some of the guys to watch on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, Houston's a Collierville kid. Had a really nice career there. He's replacing a 3-year starter. And had a really nice opener for us this year, last week. And, we've got a couple kids at tailback. We've got a Knoxville kid, Elijah Bain, that I think is a pretty talented player. We've got a couple slot receivers out of Collierville, Trey Hampton and Austin Smith. And then on the outside, we have a Florida kid that Andrew Pickens that's a really nice player. If you look at the stats, I think we had 13 or 14 kids catch passes for us last Saturday. We have a pretty deep receiving core. Biggest development area is offensive line. We're replacing 6 seniors, and that's our biggest growth area.
Wilhelm, by the way, 15 of 22, $176, 3 touchdowns, and just the 1 pick. I would imagine that when you have a game like this to open the season, it's the perfect scenario for any coach at any level. You win, you take care of business, and it's not without flaws. I mean, you make mistakes, but certainly a lot fewer than positive things that you did in this game. You probably played a lot of guys that maybe you wouldn't if it was a real tight game. So I guess that's the perfect scenario to open the season.
It is. You know, you have a chance to really continue your evaluations. There's still some position battles that are out there, and guys are rotating a little bit. But, you know, we got a chance to look at a lot of guys on film. And early in the season, when you can do that, it's a great opportunity. Next week will be a little stiffer test, and then we move into conference play after that. So hopefully, by week 3, when we get into conference play, we'll be settled in on where we're at with rotations and lineups and things like that.
When you talk about the conference, Trinity has been, I think, dominated the conference the last couple of years. How do you look at the conference? Who are the teams that you need to be able to compete with if you are competing for that title?
Well, Trinity started this season, preseason number 4, so obviously they're the favorite in our league. They're number 4 nationally. They took a tough loss on the road in overtime in week 1. Barry, which is where I coached previously, had a huge win against the national playoff team last week. I think if you look at the picks, those are the top 2. Center is always really strong out of Kentucky. And then, I hope we're in that mix as well.
When you are on the recruiting trail, I imagine that when you're out there, you're recruiting for a Division III program with high academic standards. It's a limited pool. But when do you know, Rich, when you go out and you watch a game, that guy's good, but he's not Division I good? How do you tell? It seems like it might be tough to tell, because I'm sure the goal of every single player out there is to play at the highest level.
Sure. I don't know that necessarily we're trying to find those kids that maybe are the scholarship level player, that the academic piece is the driver for their decision. Kids, so it's not necessarily that we're trying to recruit a Division III caliber player. We're trying to recruit a higher caliber player, that the academics are really their driver. And that doesn't mean we're going to, get 90 scholarship players on our roster, but that's where we're trying to build it, and that's where we start. And then I think it's fit. Does that family and does that player desire what we offer?
The opening game, a home opener rather, is Saturday, and as you mentioned, then week 3 you get into conference play, but you will take on Austin College Saturday, 1 o'clock. Give us the lowdown of this matchup on Saturday.
Yeah, sure. They have a new head coach, guy that was in our league. He was at Birmingham Southern. His name's Tony Joe White. He's got a terrific resume. Has won a lot of conference championships, playoff games. He's taken over a program that struggled, so they're in year 1. Defensively, they're a little bit ahead of where they were offensively. They've returned 9 starters on defense, and they're transitioning from a wishbone to a more pro-style offense. So, they're ahead of the game there. I would think we're the favorite, but it's going to be a good football game.
For those folks out there who have not experienced a Rhodes game and you got a Saturday afternoon, nothing's going on, what would you say to the folks out there who are big football fans and maybe don't know much about them?
Yeah, sure. The Southern Athletic Association is great football. I think we play in a great league. It's very competitive football. It's a chance to really see it up close and personal. The stadium is not obviously the size of the Liberty Bowl. You get a chance to see really, really good football, competitive football, and you get to see it up close and, in a really great atmosphere.
Rich, we look forward to covering this team. We look forward to having you on each and every week. Again, next week, hopefully in person here in studio. And just to talk up the links and the athletics going on over there at that beautiful, beautiful school over there on right off Parkway. Thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck this weekend. We'll talk about it next week.
Awesome. Really excited to be on and look forward to being in studio next week as well. Appreciate the coverage, guys.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Rich Duncan, head coach of Rhodes football in year number 3. And as I said, we'll talk a lot about the football team, the men's and women's basketball team in this segment each and every week as we move along, both in the fall and in the winter.
Team USA up 96-58 now with just a couple of minutes remaining. Mikal Bridges having a big game today, 24 points for him. Tyrese Halliburton with 18. Team USA shooting 17 of 35 from three-point range in this game.
That'll get it done.
So they have shot the long ball well, and they have actually won the rebound battle in this one. So that's good news as well. They have dominated the boards against Italy after being dominated on the boards in their last two games against Montenegro and Lithuania. So that's a good sign there, and they will move on into the semifinals with this victory today.
So who would they possibly face? Has any other action happened in the quarters? Is this the first game of the quarters?
Let me double check. I know there's other games either going on or that have completed.
Serbia beat Lithuania earlier.
So I have to worry about Lithuania again.
Yeah, so the team that beat the United States the other day is out. Serbia moves into the semis. I wonder if it'll be the Serbians that the United States will play.
The winner of Germany and Latvia will play Team USA.
Okay, Germany and Latvia. And then the other two teams are what, Canada?
Canada and Slovenia.
And how about Canada? And how about Dylan Brooks, the game he had? He had a great game. They knocked off Spain. Not seeing Spain in the quarterfinals is shocking, but Canada's loaded with a bunch of NBA players, and they could be even deeper for the Olympics next year if some of these guys that decided not to play in the FIBA World Cup will play for Team Canada. They have a great roster of players. And Dylan was fabulous. They beat Spain, as I mentioned. Santi Aldama was terrific for Spain. And Aldama now out of it and probably heading over from across the sea to Memphis here probably in the next week or so, I would imagine, as we are getting closer and closer to the start of camp for the Grizzlies and everybody else around the National Basketball Association. But a great showing for Santi Aldama, but a tremendous game for the former Grizzly Dylan Brooks.
Some more text here on the Sports 56 listener line, 901-360-8255, 901-360-8255. Talked earlier in the program a lot about the Tigers and their season opening win, knocking off Bethune-Cookman 56-14, although Seth Hennigan did throw a couple of picks, including a pick six. Texter says, Silverfield still has not fixed the O-line. That's why Hennigan was rushed and threw so poorly. He will struggle to beat Arkansas State and Navy, and then they're going to get their ass handed to them by Boise. Boise did not look very good. Now, I know Washington's pretty darn good, but by golly, Boise could not cover their receivers at all.
Michael
Washington
Penix,
guys were just running wide open all over the field.
Michael Penix Jr. was great, but he had wide open receivers, no question about it. Now, the texter's first point is understandable. Ryan is an offensive line guy, right? That's what he coached under Mike Norvell before he became the head coach. He has the NFL experience. He has done a pretty good job in using the transfer portal to go out and get some offensive linemen and junior college. He has the three in the middle in Likes, in Carter, and who am I missing? The third that have been there forever that are solid. The tackles are basically new. You have Dobbs on the one side, and you have, I'm going to have to look this up. But anyway, tackles are new really as starters. The guys in the middle are the experience. The depth is a little bit better than it was last year. But you have a couple guys go down with an injury, you're in trouble. Here's the problem. And again, to the point of the texter. Offensive linemen are so important. They're a commodity that if you have any type of talent and you jump in the portal, you're gone. You are getting a lot of NIL money. So the chances to go somewhere else and get paid, even if you are a mediocre offensive lineman, is a very, very apparent. So you have to really hope that you get some guys in here that may not have the experience, establish themselves, and then you hope to keep them, but that's almost impossible because, again, any lineman that has any qualities to them as far as maybe blossoming into a pretty solid lineman, not even a great lineman, is going to be plucked because they're going to get the word out that they can make a certain amount of money with NIL deals with bigger schools that can pay more. That's the bottom line with offensive linemen.
Drew texts in. He says, Hennigan throws off his back foot way too much. He's the same player he was as a freshman. Now, is he throwing off his back foot because of pressure and things like that? Guys at his face, stuff like that. The one thing he has not done, even he didn't do as a freshman, was turn the ball over. Like he had his freshman year, he had maybe 6 interceptions, something like that. I think last year he had 8.
Yeah.
Like one thing he has not done since in both of his first 2 years is turn the ball over. So, I mean, he's put up, his freshman year, he put up really darn good numbers for a freshman. Last year, he put up good numbers again.
I just thought.
But again, the one thing he doesn't do normally is turn the ball over.
Right. I just thought on Saturday, and I'm not even talking about the pick six where the edge rusher just bum rushed him and got to him. It was just it was not a good pass. His passes, for the most part, I thought were a little bit high. They didn't throw downfield too often. They had a couple of really nice plays that turned into big gainers. He threw a good ball he ended up throwing a couple touchdown passes, threw a good ball to Carter for a touchdown. I just thought that a lot of his passes were a little bit high, and he wasn't real accurate, real sharp. And the pocket was breaking down a little bit. It wasn't all on Seth. And again, his standards are high because he's been there. He's only 20 years old. But he's played 2 years of Division I football. This is year 3. So you expect him to be able to play and not make critical mistakes. That was a critical mistake. Then Tevin Carter got into the game. It was good to see him, but they had a communication problem between the exchange with him and Bull Hargrove, who's the Mississippi State transfer, is like the 4th or 5th running back for the Tigers and has some talent. But I don't know whose fault that was. I guess you blame both of them. They fumbled. It was a scoop and score. So you can't have those type of plays. But again, one was Carter, one was Hennigan. But I just thought Seth was not as sharp.
If you want to chime in, you can on the Sports 56 listener line, 901-360-8255, 360-8255. By the way, Seth Hennigan, 8 interceptions each of his first 2 seasons. So he was 25 touchdowns, 8 interceptions as a freshman, 22 at 8 last year. But so that's, again, I mean, he attempted nearly 400 passes as a freshman, nearly 450 last year, just 8 interceptions each season. So he's done a pretty good job of limiting the interceptions in his first 2 years, and then started, of course, this year with 2 in the first game against an inferior opponent.
Before you read that, I couldn't remember. Jonah Gamble is the other veteran offensive line. So you got Gamble, you got Likes as the center, and you got Carter. So they have played a lot of games for Memphis. I don't know why I said Dobbs. That was the Michigan State transfer. It didn't work out really, Dobbs. It's Pounders, who I believe is from Byhalia, who's now the starting left tackle, Byhalia High School. And the right tackle is Xavier Hill. So they are basically new starters at the tackle position for Memphis. Extremely important positions, especially the left tackle protecting the blind side for the quarterback, the right-handed thrower, Seth Hennigan.
Again, if you want to get some in, 901-360-8255. We do have a couple more texts that we will get to when we come back. Also, a couple of examples this past weekend of just how dumb the NCAA can be. And both of them pertaining to the University of North Carolina, weirdly enough. Folks, have you been over to Genesis Diamonds yet? Well, when you walk in, it is absolutely jaw-dropping. A gorgeous showroom with, of course, it's absolutely beautiful to begin with, but then you start looking around and you see the selection of jewelry. That even makes it more beautiful because they have everything that you could possibly imagine. The specialty, that's diamonds. Diamonds, engagement rings, but there's plenty of other fine jewelry to choose from, including pre-owned Rolex watches, case after case of great jewelry for you to check out. Line after line of jewelry that you will not find anywhere else in Memphis. And you have zero stress, zero intimidation, because the folks there, they're there to help you. They're not there to pressure you into anything because they're not working on commission. Whether you're looking for that diamond engagement ring or any other fine jewelry, go see the folks at Genesis Diamonds. They are absolutely, again, not going to pressure you whatsoever. And there's something for every possible budget from under $100 to thousands of dollars that you'll find at Genesis Diamonds. Their warranty system, their upgrade policy, they are things that you do not find anywhere else. They're at Poplar and Perkins Extended in the Poplar Commons Shopping Center. Genesis Diamonds, go check them out. Again, in the Poplar Commons Shopping Center.
You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, We are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We're in the break room at a traditional jewelry store here.
Hey, Mark, I know it's our job here to try and sell every piece of jewelry, but don't sell this ring. I'm going to try to use my employee discount to buy it for my wife.
Okay, but you know you can get a better deal at Genesis Diamonds.
Genesis Diamonds? Are you crazy? Better not let the boss hear you.
All I'm saying is I got a pair of diamond stud earrings there for my wife and paid a lot less than what we charge here, even after my employee discount.
Wow, really?
You never know who you'll see shopping at Genesis Diamonds. With no middleman pricing on the best selection of diamond rings, earrings, pendants, bands, and bracelets, it's a no-brainer.
I admire your dedication to our jewelry store and not going to Genesis. I know the boss really appreciates your loyalty.
It's just the right thing to do, man.
And it's nice your wife won't mind getting a smaller diamond.
On second thought, can you cover me while I take a break?
Genesis Diamonds, the smart alternative to old-fashioned jewelry shopping. With more selection, lower prices, higher quality, stronger warranties, and zero pressure. At Poplar and Perkins Extended.
Bell Tavern is waiting for you this Saturday. Well, Bell Tavern is waiting for you all the time, but this Saturday and the next bunch of Saturdays are different because these Saturdays we have college football. We say it all the time. Bell Tavern, Memphis' downtown neighborhood bar, is not a sports bar. It's a great bar that happens to have sports on the TVs. Lots of high-def TVs. You don't want to go watch your favorite college team in some chain restaurant. You want to go to Bell Tavern where you can enjoy the game, make some friends, and have some of the best cocktails in Memphis. That's what you want.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at TriumphAutoSales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Get ready for the NFL season with incredible offers from FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Now is the best time to join FanDuel. The app is easy to use. You can bet on everything from spreads to player props and more. So visit FanDuel.com/win and kick off the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
21 plus and present in Tennessee. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call TN Redline 1-800-889-9789.
NFL Sunday Ticket offer ends 9/18/23. No refunds. Terms and embargoes apply. $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket, not YouTube TV. YouTube TV base plan required to watch YouTube TV. Redemption requires a Google account and current form of payment. Commercial use excluded. Subscription renews. Cancel anytime.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Visitor scored on the home rink. Everything seems to be wrong.
Welcome back, everybody. 9:30 the time. Final half hour for us today. Zach Boyd spinning all the Jimmy Buffett tunes today as we honor another Pirate, unfortunately, that passed away over the weekend with Mike Leach last year. Gosh, less than a year. We lost 2 of our most prominent Pirates out there.
I drank some margaritas over the weekend in honor of Jimmy Buffett.
Good job. Good job. I want a boat drink. I want a boat drink right now. By the way, if you are a big fan of the Titans and want to hear their terrific play-by-play announcer, Mike Keith, you can today, as the Memphis Touchdown Club has their meeting, a rare Tuesday lunch meeting. It's today at the Memphis Hilton. So go ahead online and check out the Memphis Touchdown Club, how you can buy tickets to go listen to Mike Keith. The NFL season begins Thursday with the Chiefs and the Lions, and then full slate on Sunday, including a Sunday night game, then Monday Night Football. And tomorrow we will make our predictions for the upcoming season. I can't wait. I think it's going to be a fun year in the National Football League.
Texter on the Sports 56 listener line says Nebraska at Colorado. Kickoff 10 a.m. local time. Television still rules broadcast start times. Yes, they do. Fox pays a lot of money for that slot. And even though the game's in Colorado, they're going to keep that 11 a.m. slot. And Deion's home debut will come at 10 o'clock in the morning local time. So that's the way it is. That's what you got to deal with the television, with the money they spend.
By the way, what did you think of Chip Kelly's comments about the changes in the rules and the speed of the game and things of that nature?
I actually was blown away this weekend by how much complaining there was about the new clock rules. They act like they have taken away like half the game.
I know.
I still never have understood why the clock ever stopped on first downs. Why do we need the clock to stop on a first down? What's the purpose of it?
I didn't
these
even
guys
see a
just
difference.
complaining about how dude, that's just dumb to me. I don't know. He's talking about we only had 4 possessions in the first half. Okay, so what? So what? You had 4 possessions. Good luck.
It wasn't because the clock was still running after a first down. I mean, come on. I didn't really sense a big difference at all, or a little difference.
It's good. The games need to be shorter. The 4-hour football game is stupid. It needs to be shorter.
They need to be shorter. I don't know what the result was from all the games as far as what the average was, length of the game. I know the Memphis game seemed to go pretty long. But, again, if it's going to help speed it up a bit, I'm fine with that. But when I go to a football game, I don't know, maybe I'm different. When I go to a football game, I don't sense anything dragging. I don't look and go, oh my God, it's now 3:25, it's 3:30, this game is going forever. I do that with baseball. I do that with baseball an awful lot. And now they've sped up baseball with the rules that they've made to change things and make it faster. But football, it's just never been with me, at least my opinion, that games just linger and linger. Because there's always action in football. There's always something going on. No? You disagree?
There's huge gaps between plays.
No, baseball has the gaps. Baseball, when Mike Hargrove would step out of the batter's box and become the human rain delay, those kind of things. Football seems to move along. I mean, there's always the anticipation of the next drive, and I don't know. Maybe I'm just different.
I would shorten halftime in college football.
Those are things. Okay, I understand that.
The stopping the clock, I always hated. I'm glad they've gone to this. And Chip Kelly, I just don't understand why he and he wasn't the only one. There's a lot of people complaining, and I understand on the broadcast they keep pointing it out just so people understand it in week 1. But God, it got nauseating. Listen to every time somebody gets the first down. Just a reminder, the clock doesn't stop anymore. I'm like, at some point I think we just get it.
It's not that hard to comprehend.
I don't need you to explain it to me anymore. I'm fine with that.
Right. Wasn't Chip Kelly the one that said, we at first we was running 100 plays and now we're down to 95 or something like that?
He was talking about plays, amount of plays. Yeah.
He's who cares? You don't need 90 plays in a game. You don't need that many plays in a game.
I'm just trying to figure out how many more plays you got on that play sheet, sir. You're running over 110 type of plays.
I mean, did we see a lot less scoring in college football this past weekend?
You had a team score 81 and you had 2 teams score 73.
Yeah,
but I mean, there was so many mismatch, it's hard to tell.
That's true.
It's hard to. Speaking of dumb things and dealing with the NCAA, 2 situations with the University of North Carolina. One is the Tez Walker situation, their wide receiver who still is ineligible and did not play against South Carolina, and there's supposed to be the result of another appeal being announced either, I think tomorrow is when they believe that they're going to get word on this second appeal. I, for the life of me, don't understand what the NCAA's stupid stance is of saying that he is not eligible to play. He did not play at his first school because they canceled their season. So, yes, is he a 2-time transfer? Technically he is, but he didn't play at the first school because they didn't have a season that year. So I think we could excuse the idea of transferring the first time when you were at a school that wasn't playing football that year because of COVID.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
And then beyond that, the second transfer is to be close to a sick grandmother, which is one of the things they seem to take into consideration and give these waivers. You've got kids out there playing at like their fourth school. This kid can't play at his second school. Again, technically it's his third, but he couldn't play the first year at North Carolina Central because they literally did not have a season.
No, it's ridiculous. Who was the guy last night in the game between Clemson and Duke where the announcer said he's in his 7th season? Do you remember that? Hearing that? They said this guy, I can't remember the player. He's in his 7th. He's in his 7th season. But Tez Walker, yeah, there's no question he should have been allowed to play. I think they'll get it straight and he'll be able to play in game 2. But luckily for them, they didn't miss him with a 2-touchdown win over South Carolina.
And then you have the North Carolina women's tennis player, Fiona Crawley, who competed in the U.S. Open, qualified and competed in the U.S. Open.
Don't get me started.
And she won $81,000. However, she's not allowed to accept it because it's prize money. At what point does the NCAA understand? Let's there is no such thing as amateur sports in college kids are no longer amateurs. They're professionals. Let's be honest. They're professionals.
Well, at least Division I is. Yes.
So so she could go sign autographs theoretically and make $81,000, but she can't make $81,000 that she earned by her performance in a tournament. I don't even, I can't comprehend, like, these decisions that they make on some of this stuff are so stupid. There's nothing that makes sense about it. There's no possible explanation for saying that, yeah, you can make money through NIL, but you can't take prize money if you're a tennis player.
I'm trying to find my text that I sent out, but it was basically what you just said. I go, oh, man, I still can't find it. But basically the same thing. In this day and age of NIL, where these student athletes are allowed now to make money off of who they are, and this girl could go out and just sign a couple of fake autographs and make whatever, you're going to deny her that money that she earned out there. I know back in the day it was taboo. I understand that back in the day. You lose your amateur status. I get it. In this day and age, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous that young lady can't keep that money.
It's funny that both of those are University of North Carolina situations that both just illustrate the stupidity of the NCAA. So if the U.S. Open would have said, fine, we're going to have her do an interview, an autograph session, pay her $81,000.
Right, that's what I wrote.
So could they do that? Could they you know what, we won't give her prize money, but she is going to we're going to have her sign autographs for a day outside the stadium. We're going to go and pay her, let's call it $81,000. We've come up with a number, we're going to pay her $81,000 to do that. That's okay.
You know what? When she won the match, I'm sure she did what all the players do, at least at the U.S. Open that I see. They bring them out a couple of tennis balls, they sign their autograph, and then they hit it into the stands. There you go. She just signed autographs. That should make up for the $81,000. Absolutely ridiculous.
I mean, it used to be, I know that, the rules used to be outrageous. It used to be like a college golfer, made a hole-in-one at a charity golf tournament. He couldn't accept the car, and they've done things to change that. But this is, to me, name, image, likeness. She won $81,000 based on who she is.
It's exactly
she
what
just had to play to do it. It wasn't just because of who she is. It's because of how good of a player she is. She actually won money. Let her take it. Shut up, NCAA. Let Tez Walker play. I mean, it's just quit being dumb.
They're like the last bastion of idiots, the NCAA. By the way, speaking of money, Steve Berkowitz, our buddy from USA Today, he tweets out a lot about the money in sports. LSU and Florida State each made, for their appearance in the Camping World Kickoff in Orlando, $5.1 million just for appearing in that game. And you wonder why there's a lot of neutral games, neutral field games, neutral court in basketball. When they offer you that type of money, you're jumping on it. You are jumping on it. Although coaches, they love the fact that the school's probably making money, but they would rather, I would imagine, not have to play those type of games to begin the season. As we talked about earlier, LSU in a huge hole. They are not out of it. They are not done, but they're on life support. I mean, they basically have to run the table. You're not getting in with 2 losses. I don't believe you are. You're going to have to win in Alabama. You're going to have to win the West.
SEC champion with 2 losses probably gets a bid.
Maybe. But is that going to happen? Are they going to be able to beat Alabama? They got the West last year. They got blown out by Georgia. Even if they were able to win in Tuscaloosa, would they be able to beat Georgia more than likely, or Tennessee in the SEC championship game? So you're really behind the 8 ball when you play one of those games. So I would imagine that those coaches don't love to play those games, but the schools certainly do. The athletic department certainly do when they pick up that kind of coin, $5.1 million per. Also last night, if you missed it earlier, we were talking about the Clemson game against Duke. Really, one of the big upsets. There were a few upsets, but not a ton of them. There weren't a ton of great games. There just wasn't. There wasn't these down-to-the-wire, last-second games. There was only one matchup of 2 ranked teams. It wasn't a great week 1, let's be honest. It was only great because they were playing college football, and we were excited about it. But other than Coach Prime in Colorado, that was the one that really saved, in my opinion, the whole weekend. As far as games are concerned, most of them were mismatches. Last night, you didn't expect the mismatch to go Duke's way, and it did, 28-7. And Dabo's talking after the game. It was almost like he was shell-shocked. He said, I've never, ever, ever experienced something like that. And that's what I was tweeting out last night. It was almost like it was beyond their control, that it was like the Bermuda Triangle when they got into the red zone, that something was going to happen. I have never seen – now, I've seen teams screw up in the red zone, but I have never seen a team, especially a quality team, a top 10 ranked team, consistently screw up in the red zone like Clemson did last night. I've never seen anything like it. It's probably the worst red zone performance I've ever seen. And it's not hyperbole.
His reaction on the last fumble, like you could tell he was just like, what is going on? What is happening?
It's beyond my control.
How is this possible that we've just fumbled again from the 1 yard line? Like, what am I supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? He was exasperated. I mean, it was like he's just like, I don't know at this point. And then when Klubnik on the 4th down play slides short of the 1st down, which that was a little weird with that targeting call, and everybody was like confused by that. But it's just bizarre that targeting is on a late hit rather than actually part of the tackle, which is part of the play. But I mean, if you're Klubnik, like, I don't care who's around or whatever, you can't slide short of the 1st down on a 4th down play. You have to dive, you have to do whatever. You have to go get the 1st down. You just can't slide down short of the 1st down, and you have to know where you are so that when you do slide, you know you're not short of the 1st down. Like, that's just a horrendous play. Maybe DJU wasn't all the problems at Clemson last year.
You know, it wasn't going to slide there short of the mark. Riley Leonard. My gosh, how good was he?
He's good. He's really good.
I mean, look, remember Daniel Jones came from Duke. They don't have Cutcliffe anymore, and he produced quarterbacks. But Elko, what a great job. What a really, really nice win for Duke. We'll get ready for the NFL season. It starts Thursday. Incredible offers from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5, get $200 in bonus bets, and that's guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Now is the best time to join FanDuel. The app is easy to use. You can bet on everything from spreads to player props, first touchdown, anytime touchdowns, all that stuff. So visit FanDuel.com/Gasman and kick off the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. FanDuel is the official partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or over, present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem, call TN Redline at 1-800-889-9789. NFL Sunday Ticket offer ends on September 18th. No refunds, terms, and embargoes apply. $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket, not YouTube TV. YouTube TV base plan is required to watch YouTube television. Redemption requires a Google account and current form of payment. Commercial use excluded. Subscription renews cancel any time. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
I'm Kelly Erb with Mark Spensdorf Realtors, and I just had to ask, Sheldon, did you really just buy a set of golf clubs and you never tried them out?
Yep, that's right.
And Sheldon, didn't you tell me whenever you buy a car, you never test drive it?
Again? Yep.
Don't you think that's pretty bizarre since you always tell people to talk to 2 or 3 agents when they sell their home?
Yes, it is. I'm Sheldon Rosengarten, and I'm also with Mark Spensdorf Realtors with Kelly. It's funny, we tell people that you should always talk to more than one agent to find out not only what they think about your home, but more importantly, what they will do for you. And you really need to make sure and include us in the interview process.
I agree, because how are you going to find out about our strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option? And as people often say, when you want the job done, call Sheldon.
That's Sheldon Rosengarten and Kelly Erb. Call or email us at memphisrelocate.com or 682-1868. Do it now, 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps, fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Jump right up and show your age. I wish I had a pencil thin mustache, the Boston black-egg kind, two-tone Ricky Ricardo jacket, and an autographed picture of Andy Devine.
I was doing a little math here. You realize that the eliminating Missouri, because they played an FCS opponent, the Tigers' next 3 opponents, who have actually played FBS teams already, have been outscored 171-22.
So it'll be Arkansas State lost 73-0. Notre Dame got crushed. Notre Dame crushed Navy in their first game. Navy would be the game after, and then it would be Boise State. And Boise State got beat up at Washington.
171-22. Those three teams against FBS opponents so far.
Man.
And then Missouri wasn't overly impressive, but did take care of South Dakota, disposed of them. Not one of the crazy, 70-point performances that we saw out of a lot of teams this week, but they ended up getting the job done there. But yeah, that's not. Those are teams you don't want to lose to after what they've done. Again, Boise looked bad. And Washington's pretty darn good. Boise looked bad. Their quarterback looked terrible, and their defense couldn't guard anybody.
Right. But again, I caution people, just because opening day didn't go your way or you got clobbered doesn't mean you won't be competitive. Look, Memphis should win. That's why they're 21.5-point favorites. Vegas usually is pretty good about things. They weren't good about Clemson and Duke last night, but they're pretty good. And Memphis is a 21.5-point favorite. They should go to Jonesboro. They should win. They've dominated this series recently. But don't think for a second that Memphis is going to go up there and win 73-0.
Acura Memphis brings you this side of the program each and every day. Acura Memphis, located on Ridgeway, right there at the intersection of 385. You can also find them online at acuraofmemphis.com. Go by, take a test drive, talk with the great folks over there. Or if you just want to get some information before you even head over, go to that website. You can get all the information you need on all the different models. You can get information like a trade-in value on your current vehicle. You could talk with a representative online, find out what special deals, financing, lease options, things like that they've got going on. You can always find that online. But nothing beats the in-person experience and the chance to take a test drive of one of those beautiful Acura automobiles. Whether it's new or pre-owned, check them out at Acura of Memphis.
Our boy Hunter Goodman still looking for his first home run, but what a first week in the bigs. He's hitting .375. On Saturday, batting 7th in the lineup, had 2 doubles, knocked in 3 for the Rockies. Yesterday, they only had 2 runs and 5 hits. He had one of those hits. It was an RBI single. So, again, he's hitting .375, batted 8th in the lineup. I don't know why Bud Black is batting him so low in the lineup, other than Blackman and maybe a couple others. This is not a good team. But I think Hunter Goodman has really proven himself in week 1 in the big leagues. Again, a really strong first week for Hunter. Meanwhile, another rookie, Royce Lewis of the Minnesota Twins, yesterday hit his 3rd grand slam in the last 8 games. 3 grand slams in 8 games for this guy, Royce Lewis. Minnesota yesterday beat the Guardians of Cleveland 20-6. They missed the extra point.
The Guardians did not guard home plate very well. They need better guardians in the home plate area because there was a lot of guys coming across there. That's obviously a big series if the Guardians want to try and get. You got the huge series with Houston and Texas going on as an AL West race is absolutely interesting. And Houston had a big day offensively yesterday against Texas to get the win there. So there's some interesting stuff.
How about the guys, Altuve and is it Dubon? They hit back-to-back homers twice in the game.
My man Justin Steele for the Cubs yesterday was dazzling. I'm guessing most people have no idea who Justin Steele is. Even baseball fans have no idea who Justin Steele is. He right now should be the front runner for the NL Cy Young Award.
Our friend Matt Infield tweeted this out over the weekend. I thought it was apropos. He said, if he wins and he has a chance to win, he said something like, this would be the most obscure Cy Young Award winner since Rich Porcello.
I mean, he's now second. He's tied for the major league lead in wins, and I think he's second overall in the major leagues in ERA now. He's been unbelievable.
You talk about quiet? He's been quiet.
And he does it throwing 91. He doesn't throw. It's crazy how he gets, guys can't catch up with his fastball at 91 mile an hour because of the rise and everything else. But during the broadcast yesterday, sometimes I forget how good Kerry Wood was. So yesterday, Justin Steele he allowed only 2 hits and struck out 12 in 8 innings. And so on the broadcast, they talked about Cubs pitchers since 98 that had at least 12 strikeouts in a game and allowed no more than 2 hits. And Kerry Wood did that 5 times.
Wow.
I mean, his career was cut short. He wasn't around that long. He became a closer too. But they do 5 different times in that short period had at least 12 strikeouts and 2 or fewer hits allowed in a game.
He was great. If you missed it earlier, the United States beats Italy 100-63 in the quarterfinals of the FIBA World Cup, so they are moving on to the semifinals. They played that one in Manila, Philippines, at the Mall of Asia Arena. I wonder if they have an ice hockey rink, the old Mall of Asia Arena. So the United States taking care of business, and today at about 10:40 Central Time, so in about 40 minutes or so, supposed to be the start of the hearing for Mikey Williams out in San Diego with his legal woes. I'm not sure what we'll hear from it, but that is on the docket for today. We want to thank Connor O'Gara, Jeff Crane, and Rhodes football coach Rich Duncan for joining us today. Tomorrow, we'll be making our NFL predictions for the upcoming season. Jerry Palm will join us from CBS Sports, to Michael Cole on the Grizzlies. And then 5 favorite things, if you missed it earlier, your 5 favorite NFL or college football helmets. Go ahead and put those lists together, get them in, and we'll talk about it tomorrow on the program. Well Done, friends, on Sports 56 is coming up next. For Eli Savoy and for Zach Boyd, Mr. DJ today, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great day, everybody.
Don't stop.